Oh, sorry. Are we live? Oh,
Yes, we are live.
oh my God, Lindsay, hello. How are you?
Hey, Mitchie.
It's
How
so
are
nice
you
to see
doing?
you. I'm great. I'm doing great. It's been a while since we've appeared on YouTube together.
I
It's
know.
really nice. I really appreciate the invitation. What's up?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm got titters. Can I have a conversation, please?
Oh, you know what? I got to put my ear. This is crazy. I got to, so
Go
dystopian.
for it.
Yeah, I just got to put this on because I just realized you're playing through my computer speakers and it's,
All right.
yeah, it's not good. Okay.
Titters.
Let me just change this really quickly. I'm so sorry.
Don't
Hello.
be.
Okay, good. That should be good.
You
Okay.
good?
Oh, perfect. Let's go. So, what's happening?
So much. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, first of all, hold on. The cat's gonna get to the wires, and then it's gonna be upsetting if it disconnects. Um, I don't know where to start. Everything seems to be finally coming together. So that's a good thing.
Yeah,
You
totally.
like I
Yeah,
talked to you before about the new job and how much I really like it and just
yeah, I was really happy about that.
thank you.
I
I'm really
wonder if yeah, no, I'm really happy for you. I know, especially today, it's a real struggle. It's depending on one's circumstances. It's like anybody that has a job should be grateful, and especially a job in your sector, which is essentially just, I know how much you love to help people who have journey out of addiction. So I was really happy to hear you had that job.
yeah. When I
Speaking
didn't
of
have
which,
a job, I was lost and
yeah,
had less accountability and it made it a lot more difficult. I need to be around those people. I need to be around
sure,
therapists that are more knowledgeable than me that I can go talk to about anything and
right, right.
I just need that, and then I felt really lost without it and I felt the consequence. Hey, is that a book?
Yeah, so sorry.
Don't
I was
say
being
sorry.
shameless. Yeah.
I Mitch sent me the book and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read the first 3 chapters and then we're gonna do a stream about it.
Well, only if you feel it's worthy, Lindsay.
Oh, I
You
do.
got to be honest here. I think, I wonder if people wonder how did you and I ever connect to start streaming to begin with? I know there
Oh
was some grumblings on Reddit, like it matters.
yeah.
I remember
I'm
there were
like,
these
love
comments,
that.
and it was really, I was like, what? There were these
Yeah.
comments like, oh, he just did that to piss off Aaron. And I'm like, what? That was, or that person who's, oh, wait a minute. Who is this? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this comment?
Oh, let me see. The pilots of the space plan that
Oh,
departed.
put it up. It's really funny.
What
I
is
just don't,
that? Is this real?
it's a Scientology thing, which I don't know. We're not here to necessarily talk about Scientology, but
Oh, it's
can,
your friend, so you have to
I
put it
get, hey,
up.
Mr. Roberts, the pilots of the space plane that deported me 75 million years ago from Cassiopeia were Vipka Hansen, an OT8SO member that works at the Hemet and headquarters of Scientology, no longer the headquarters people. Um, and they're now just a backwater production facility that makes shiny objects for the TV network. Bob Duggan, OT8, was the co-pilot, aka Mengele. Yeah, that's really funny. That's really funny. Yeah, I know Vipka Hansen. We're not going to get sidetracked, but
Wow.
I've Vipka is that's a whole long story. Vipka was not in the Sea Work. She was public. She was OT8. She was the ED, the executive director of the Munich, I think, Berlin, Hamburg org, and she lied. She cheated on the statistics of the org for about 5 years in a row and kept winning the birthday game. So when Miscavige found out about it, not that he cares about people lying and cheating, but in this case he did. He summoned her to the international base and told her if she didn't join the Sea Org and be immediately sent to the RPF, he was kicking her out of Scientology. So she did. And then I worked with her for years. Remember that backdrop I used to stream with, that really pretty backdrop when I first came on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she painted that.
Oh.
She's a set painter. And I actually used it to honor her because she's a victim and she is a really nice person and a talented artist. So, yep, there's a
Oh.
lot behind that, Victor Roberts. Thanks for bringing it up. It's like an entire stream. That one comment is
I know.
worth it, and I will get to it. I've done one, but I'll do more. I'm so sorry. So let's go on. We
No,
were
and hi,
talking
Chrissy. Chrissy's one of my good friends. She sent me the
Victor
coolest
Roberts.
gift. She
Victor
sent me
Roberts.
box and everything that I
Oh,
posted.
nice,
Yeah.
nice,
So,
nice.
hi, Mike. We're good. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. So, what we were talking
Oh
about
yeah. How did
questions. People had
how
these
did
questions, and they had, you know,
we?
can you believe that? You could take down. Let's take down Victor's. You can put
No,
this one
look at
up
the
if you.
beautiful new
This is
comment.
this is like, hey, does anybody want to know what a really creative troll looks like? Like, we can
Yeah.
show you. We have an example of one right here.
Okay.
Here's, yeah, here we go. Put this up.
There you go. The
No,
funny thing is that it's not true.
no. The one that says, Mitch, are you aware of Lindsay
Yes,
still?
that's not true.
No, but you got to put it up. It's not up. Put it on the screen.
Oh, no, it's on your page. Oh, Mitch, are you aware of Lindsay still hooking up with Aaron, conspiring with him to dox people? Be careful. I did not
No,
conspire with him to dox anybody,
no, no.
and it's none of your business how things happened,
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Good.
and why he doxed.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that, Faith W. I'm sure everybody will appreciate having that
Lindsay posted it.
inside knowledge. Um,
This is hilarious.
wow, you have some real serious trolls here.
I
Yet
told you that these people are just
I
obsessed.
didn't know. This is really toxic.
Lindsay
Oh my
still
God. Am I
working
going
at
to get your troll cooties, Lindsay?
huh?
Am I going to get your
He's like
troll
my best
cooties?
friend, you guys. He knows everything about everything. Like
Ye-
everything.
Yeah,
We talk
and
every day.
yeah, and don't read anything into that because we're 3,000 miles apart. I am
Right.
like her. I am like
No,
Lindsay's
I
big
mean
brother.
he
Okay.
knows what's going on and no he doesn't.
Oh, I love this one. Mitch thinks he will get a chance with her. Yeah.
I
Oh,
see
yeah.
this person. I think she goes in Nora's chat too, or he or whoever.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't drink. And this gives me a chance to clarify it. And Mitch knows what happened because he's my best friend, and I clarified.
Yeah.
After the past year, I slipped and everything was too much. And you know what? I wasn't wanting to blame it on anything, but since I've been in therapy, like learning more, I realized that all the victim shaming, such as what's going on right now, is what led me to go seriously. I don't even know the word, Mitch. What was it? I just collapsed. I couldn't take it. I
Yeah.
I lost it.
Yeah.
It
Well,
wasn't
I
the original
think,
abuse. It was everybody else
yeah.
compounding it. And even Nora said on the chat the other day that everybody made my life a living hell. And they
Yeah.
think they know me, which is hilarious, but they saw me in pain, just like you saw me in pain. You know who that
Yeah.
probably is.
Well, listen, the travel, the road, the path out of addiction is not a straight line, people.
No, I'm
It's
not a
not.
sociopath, believe me.
Yeah. And we all make mistakes and we all need forgiveness. And if you want to be trapped, by with vitriol and hatred because you believe people are responsible for screwing you over, and you can't find any way to forgive them, to detach them from you, not to help them, but just to get yourself out of there, then okay, fine. That's how you want to live your life. Hey, put this one up. Mike 7090 said, Mitch, you're an amazing person. I wish you the best, my friend.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Mike.
that's nice, Mike.
Yeah, I tell you about what's his name? Mark Twain famously said he had a problem with compliments because they were
Mhm.
never enough. So, but
Interesting.
yeah, but
Did you know
anyway, he
grade
also
A
said
sociopath isn't even a real thing, by the way?
sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just reading her thing. Grade A sociopath. A sociopath isn't even a real thing.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I guess maybe you mean
No, I
because
mean
it's
it's
like
not a clinical term.
no, it's not, but it is a
But
real
it just
thing.
shows the ignorance.
Yeah, it is a real thing, but it's
Oh, it's real, but it's not.
yeah, but it's not.
I don't see it in the DSM.
Yeah, but you know what? Either is asshole, and I think asshole is a mental disorder. I
Yeah.
think they should put it in as one of the grades of narcissism. Well, he doesn't rise to the level of a narcissist.
Yeah.
But they're an asshole. Okay, so
It's just so ironic to where I cried so much about someone that I would perceive as maybe having traits of those things. Um, you know what I'm saying? If I was a
yeah,
sociopath, it's just so crazy. Like, why are you
yeah,
us with me?
yeah,
Like, go kick rocks and go somewhere else. We're having
yeah,
a real conversation here about good.
yeah.
But that is, you know what it is? It goes right in.
Hey,
It's
sorry,
okay to
Lindsay.
talk about because it's tribulations and then now perseverance. I'm working through things, you're working through things.
Yeah.
It's the reality of it.
Can you
Right.
take that comment off the screen? I don't want
Oh,
people to
I'm
think that
sorry. I did.
well, I just don't want people to think I'm like just basking in the glow
Oh,
of
sorry.
somebody's
I know you.
compliment. But I do really appreciate you saying that. But yeah, so yeah, so people had questions and they made accusations about why we streamed. And I'll tell you really quickly, I'll tell you the story. It's kind of funny. It's so what happened was, well, I was originally invited to appear on YouTube when I did appear. I was planning on coming on when my book was done
Yeah.
as part of a marketing campaign. And please accuse me all you want of just doing it for money. But if you have an important message that you think will help bring Scientology down, and you're not doing anything to market it, and you're self-published, you're really just need to stay home. So I was very aggressively doing my due diligence and learning about marketing. And one of the points that came up was, um, you don't forget about YouTube for marketing your book. I was talking to Aaron at the time. I was very happily giving him content, speaking with him. I wasn't under the radar, but I hadn't really spoken out yet. And so he invited me on, and he was really rude to me, and I didn't understand it. I mean, I'm not the one saying he was rude to me. His sub said he was rude to me. Like, why are you so rude to this guy? This guy has just been out for 5 minutes. I mean, it'd been a couple of years, a year and a half. So anyway, I told him my plan of what I was going to do with my book and come on. And he said, no, you should come on YouTube now so people know who you are. And then I went on, and then it didn't go well, but then we kept trying to do some content. But it was weird because every time I went on, he would, he would attack me. Like it was, I don't want to say attack me, but he was trying to blunt. It wasn't really attacking me. He was trying to blunt my message. He was trying to and then he came right out and said it on a stream with my friend Rachel Hastings. Rachel was like texting me, "You got to watch this. Aaron's talking about you." And I tuned in, and he just in time for her to say, maybe Mitch has a different opinion because he's somebody Miscavige considered a friend. Exactly. And Aaron was like, no, 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 no. He's unqualified. He doesn't know anything. He did it for money. He was never in the Sea Org. He never ate with the little people in the cafeteria, blah, blah, blah. And then that's pretty much defined my position on YouTube, because as a content creator, because that's what he does, he runs it like it's a bros club, and like he stands at the door and decides who's going to come in and out, and he's like the gatekeeper, right? So for a couple of weeks, I wrote some chats, some texts, like just calling him out for being, homophobic body shamer, which he is. And so then I sort of was done with that. I was over the whole thing. I just didn't care. And but then occasionally I get these texts, he'd pick fights with me, blah, blah, blah. And then one day out of the blue, Dodge Landisman sent me a text saying another woman has come out with allegations of abuse against ASL. And so I'm like, why is he telling me this? It's just none of my, I don't care. So I watched, a few minutes of the stream. You had just dropped your video. Yeah. And so I watched a few minutes of it, and then I just was like, okay, whatever, I get it. And then I searched your name, and I found your identity on YouTube, and I'm on the internet, and I discovered that you're an addiction counselor. My path into Scientology was through addiction. So I had been looking for somebody to stream with about addiction. So I reached out to you, and I introduced myself, and I said, look, I would like to do content with you on addiction on one condition. We don't talk about that situation that's going on with that person on YouTube, because I was just, it was just boring to me. I didn't want to get into it. And so then you posted a thumbnail saying you were going to stream with me. And then he started sending me threatening texts. Like, I'll do a video about you. I'll do a video about you. Like from 10 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock the next morning. he was frantically texting me, trying to get me to help him shut you up. And that really pissed me off. And I kept telling, I mean, who does that? Who threatens you with videos?
A lot of people
Osa,
did.
Osa.
Got the whole group
That,
against me, even
yeah.
Norris.
So he's being like Osa. And I'm
Yeah,
like, well, you know what? Screw you, man. This is about you because you're trying to get me to help you shut this person up. So, you know what? We are going to talk about you. But even then, we agreed we're not going to talk about it unless people ask, because I'm not one to join into these kind of public spectacles. I mean, I'm here to get a message across, to take, get rid of Scientology's tax exemption, hold space for victims, all kinds of things. I'm not here to, get involved in the
right.
machinations of a very fractured and tribal crowd. So that's what we did. We did some content, and it was great. And anyway, that's the story. And then we became friends, and I very much wanted to support you emotionally because I'd been through so much of what you've been through. You got onto drugs. You became an addict when you were 15. Me too. You got off of it pretty much when you were, you got off of that particular drug when you were 23. I did too. And so we had this commonality, and it became, it was helpful for me to support you and your journey, and to, lean into my origin story without it having to be about Scientology. So anyway, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do that, Lindsay. I really appreciate it. And anybody think, and so a lot of people were saying, oh, you just did it. This is my point. You just did it to piss Aaron off. I didn't. I knew it would piss him off, but that's not why I did it. But the fact that it pissed him off, that's on him. That's not on me, because it had nothing to do with him. So there you go.
I think this is time that I address the truth.
Okay, you can. I mean, can I say one thing?
Of course.
Kelly BC says, you can put it up. Are there no mods here? And that's at me. I don't care if they're mods or not. I mean,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't
My
care.
mod is, might be sleeping. I don't know. She was gonna be here, but it's late.
Yeah, I mean, I think if somebody's like doing something like, really spamming and being obnoxious, whatever. But if you have something crappy to say and you want to expose yourself as a douchebag, go ahead.
Well, I enjoy constructive conversation, not these gotcha kind of things of like what's going on in the chat. It's really sad because another person, they're probably it's just sad.
Hey, hold on a second. Hold on? I'm sorry, Lindsay. You got to put up this latest one from Faith. I don't know who the hell this person is. This is insane. Faith says, and Mitch, no. What does this say? Do you also hate trans people and DEI, Mitch?
She thinks I hate trans people because I don't like the surgery on the kids.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't like trans people. That's a completely different issue. That's a completely different issue. I have
non-binary.
I have dear friends that are trans. I have dear friends that are gay. I consider myself an ally. I think it's disgusting that you would say that. The issue of it's a very difficult issue, the sexual reassignment with minors, and it needs to be discussed and resolved. But just the fact that you at Faith, can you just get that person the hell out of here, because they don't deserve to be here. They're just just a flamethrower.
I know that you think that you're correct, and that's your perspective, and that's okay.
Yeah, and here's the deal. If it turns out that if Lindsay, my friend Lindsay, believes that there's only two genders, she and I can have a conversation about that. That's not my mind, but I am very open to other people's views and having, and having a real conversation. So just don't do that, okay? No, we're not going to turn this into
every Democrat. A lot of Democrats think that it's all talking points, and I don't. Not all Democrats, but a lot of people will say that there's no kids getting surgery. Why don't you go look into it? I don't make things up. And this person is actually, I'm sorry, but I feel bad for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Lindsay and I, we don't even have the same politics, but we're
Yeah,
friends because we have these intersecting points of interest and care for other people. So I put that stuff aside.
right.
People, they're
Steve, like the thing is, right, those conversations are not here, but she doesn't want to have a conversation. She's bashing me.
yeah, okay. Can we just be done with her?
Yeah, but I just want to say this. I want to say something about the Jenna thing, about how she,
Okay. No, I mean, I just want to be done with Faith. If you want to have like a real conversation with me, please,
yeah,
you can go to my website. I'm sorry, you can go to my channel. You can get my email address. You can send me an email. I'd be
on your
more than happy.
to ban her. I can't do it.
Yeah, this is not the place for that conversation.
Faith is
So,
on your thing, I think. Yeah, only your guest can delete her. But I do want to address the Jenna thing. Just not in a negative way. Um, and I hope that's okay.
oh yeah, she's in my chat. I just put her in a timeout.
Um,
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
like I can't explain everything that was coming at me. There's no explanation that will be sufficient for someone that doesn't really want an explanation, and that's okay. That's why they're called trolls. And so I'm sorry that I can't, you know, appease you or whatever, and that's okay. um I am who I am, and I'm very honest about who I am, and I do my best, and that's it. um and and the thing about, I did want to address this in the beginning, and I don't want, the Mitch has nothing to do with this, what I'm about to say. I'm not saying anything negative. Okay.
Okay.
I want everybody to know that. I want you to know that. um just like she had said, and people are saying, I get set screenshots, which I've been telling people don't send them to me anymore, from like Reddit and stuff, because I don't want to see them anymore. It's really like a lot of people trying to like, they're trying to get people against me, to bully me, and basically abuse me. And I've been dealing with the abuse for a year, and I'm still pushing through it. And I don't act like a victim. I don't want to be a victim. But at the end of the day, I have to realize the reality of that I may have been a victim, or else I can't heal. My therapist keeps saying you will never get better if you do not acknowledge certain things.
Yeah.
And so that's very hard for me to do, because in AA and stuff, you're not a victim. You can't be a victim.
Right.
So anyways, so what I want to say is, there's reasons that not everything played out in the public like people think, right, Mitch? Like,
Right.
not everything that happens is played out in the public, of what he said, she said between me and Jenna. And I know you don't know everything, because it's just, the positive is that everything I said to her was genuine, and I believe she was genuine to me too. I hope so. I think she is a sweet person. I, however, did get upset with her when, and I'm sorry, Jenna, but I have to tell the truth here, because this really, really upset me. And this is when I realized I couldn't trust telling you sensitive information, and I'm just being honest, because I care about you and everything, but I just had to put boundaries up, because I got word from someone that her friends knew about us cheating, about her, were running interference, and knew about Aaron cheating on both of us, and knew, and thought, and they were just running interference, telling their mods, just telling everybody, right? Silly stuff, immature stuff. So I said, Jen, I just want to tell you this. I was hesitant to tell you, but I just wanted you to know, so maybe you could just, I don't know, do with the information that you will. And I told her who said it, and I shouldn't have. And then that night, Aaron sent threatening text messages to two of them, two women. And that's dangerous. And that
Mhm.
puts me in danger. And then 2 days later, she asked me who said something else, and I said, I can't tell you any names anymore. I don't trust you. And so, yeah, I was upset. That doesn't mean I hated her. We had a little disagreement there, but that's as far as it went. We communicated like adults. Um, People think that she's talking about me in her video. I never tried to be her best friend. Um, she may be talking about Nora. I don't like that she's talking about Nora, but that's not my business.
Right. Hey,
So I don't.
can you take Faith's comment? She was in my chat. I put her in a timeout, but can you take that comment off the screen? I can't because I
Oh
don't.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thanks.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I had to say that and clear the air because I haven't wavered on my support of her, even though I felt, I don't want to say betrayed, but I was upset because something that I trusted her to not say to Aaron, which Aaron is a danger to me because of who he threatens, not to me directly, but he you guys know, you guys have seen it, right? I'm not a victim, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I'm not putting anybody else in danger. I
Right.
can't. And so um she didn't want to talk to me after I didn't give her information, and that's okay. We She yelled at me one day and said we're not BFF when the Jamie Mustard thing happened, and you're right, we're not BFF, but I'm not going to be mean to you in public. There's no reason to. So I don't know what that was about, but um,
Right.
I wish her well. And I texted her tonight, and I said, I don't know if you're talking about me or if you're trying to start something with me. I don't understand. I would just like to, I just want things to be whatever, but I know that everything she's saying is probably through, who. And so I can't get upset. I experienced it too, and I have to be compassionate. And and the thing is too is like, just because I get frustrated doesn't mean that I don't like her or hate her or I'm hot and cold. I just am honest. A real friend tells someone the truth about what's going on. And I experienced it for 5 years. And so what kind of person would I be to not say, hey, this happened to me too? And
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, I kept my
I
opinions to myself about the Jenna situation because I mean, I knew her as a little girl. I met her, she was probably 9 years old. I knew her whole family. I saw the whole situation. I
Mhm.
mean, I knew her for a few years until she went to Gold and then I'm not Gold, but Flag, and then she left and she was with her folks.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I have a lot of empathy, and I was really I felt bad because I mean, I didn't personally feel bad, but I just I don't know how to describe it, but when she came out and exposed the abuse that she had underwent, and I thought, wow, she's really championing the cause for
Yes.
all women. I mean, literally, she's standing up for all women, and then 24 hours she took it back, and I was just like, oh,
I know. And that's
man.
a cycle, unfortunately. Because you know
Yeah,
what? Remember when I did the same exact thing? I made 2 or 3 videos, I deleted them, and then I put up another one, and then I deleted that. And it's just kind of the
mhm.
cycle because unfortunately, I don't know if it's like that with everybody, but I experienced that. So I knew I had a good feeling of what had happened. And that's why I kept trying to check on her and make sure she was okay during that time. But she would say little things, and that's okay. She doesn't have to tell me anything. I just want to make sure she was alive. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
no, Liz, it wasn't you.
Yeah. Hi,
Liz,
Liz.
I Liz, I know you didn't know. I talked to people and they said that you were very supportive.
Yeah, I can't imagine her being otherwise.
No, I was wrong about Liz. And I apologize to you, Liz. I I feel like I lashed out on you when I saw that stream and I shouldn't have, and it was blown out of proportion. My responses were, and like I did tell you before, I think that you have a lot of potential to really change, not change the movement, but enhance the movement and doing what you do, you know?
Yeah,
So
not to mention Liz is a very talented content creator, and I really enjoy her
I
stuff.
know, I like watching her a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her ever since I got upset. I didn't want to watch, but she did apologize to me, and that was big of her. And she deleted me out of the stream, and I wasn't sure that she was being for real, but I noticed it, and I was really impressed that she actually did it. And so she's a woman of her word, it seems like. So thank you, Liz, and I hope you're well. But no, it was two people, and it's not people you're friends with. Thanks, babe. It's okay. Don't be sorry. The thing is, I did look like a troll maybe because I was in so much pain and I was shouting out from the rooftops and nobody believed me and people kept putting me down more. So my natural instinct was to not give up and not just cower and to just keep fighting back and saying like, no, this isn't true. I didn't know what to do. I had no guidance.
Well,
I've never said this on here. I don't know.
well, I can tell you from my own personal experience, you were in an incredibly dangerous position because you turned out to be the person who was telling the truth all along.
I know.
And that is such a dangerous position to be in because, you know, when you first tried to stand up for yourself, you got pretty brutalized for it. And then it was all of a sudden, Lindsay was right. She was telling us the truth all along. And, you know,
that are still coming against me, just like that person in the chat people are calling me a sociopath and this and that, and that's okay. That's a reflection on themselves. It's just mind-blowing because we learn and we fight these injustices of victim shaming, and I don't believe all women. I believe men and women, right? Because men can be abused too. So my take on is,
you mean abused by women?
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
You know what I meant, but I'm saying
Yeah.
both sexes can be abused, and actually the highest rate of domestic violence is to women. Statistically, it's crazy. What I'm trying to say is it just I never had a mental breakdown that lasted so long to where I tried to figure it out and there was no figuring it out. And I wasn't, this Holger person is Aaron. This Holger writer, he keeps putting the same in like every chat. I've seen it like 4 times now. The same exact.
What does this mean? Odd? Can you explain this? Does that mean endowed as in?
Yeah. But then in one of them, they
really? And how do you know that? How do you know that? What Holger Ritter? How do you know that? Is that personal experience or is that just?
Come on, now. Huh? Aaron makes fake things. Phil Rogers is another one of his. But the thing,
it seems to me that people who, especially males, tend to exhibit certain behaviors when they're compensating for not being well endowed. So that's just something to think about.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
And also added in another chat, it was very well known in the Sea Org. What do you mean? He was sleeping around in the Sea Org?
Yeah, that's just weird.
Like a fabricated to make him look like a player.
Aaron as well. I never put shame on either.
Aaron,
wait a minute. That is such an anti-woman comment. That's like saying that. That's like so borderline slut shaming. That's like, oh, we fell victim to a big dick. I'm sorry for my language, but are you fucking kidding? Is that what you think of women? That's just disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, just call that out for what it is.
by his behavior.
Oh, they're forgiven because they got to ride the Wonder Pole. What the hell is that all about? For A, it probably doesn't exist, and B, like, how would that ever be an excuse? Like, well, uh,
Not, it's
I,
him trying to make
I'm
himself.
assuming that the comment means that I never put any shame on either Lindsay or Jenna, because who wouldn't go for that? I mean, what does that mean? It's just weird. Okay,
Only
let's move on. I'm done with that. Let's move on.
that was saying it about themselves would say it, in my opinion. Who the fuck
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah, but you know what? Kate Taylor said something really interesting a bit ago. You should put it up.
Let me see.
She said, if you can see it, she said, I thought that I was responsible for all that happened to me.
Mm,
This caused me to have a breakdown after a series of abusive relationships. The truth is, sometimes it's just circumstance. And so, thank you for that, Kate.
oh,
Sometimes that circumstance is really abusive people. I mean, the reason that I wanted to call this comment out is because this is what happens to people in Scientology. You become so indoctrinated in believing that everything is your fault. I even, like, when I left Scientology with all the BS that I went through, I was like, I thought I failed them, even though I knew I had to get out. I'm like, oh, I
oh,
failed all my friends, and you need to process that shit. So thanks, Kate. I definitely that resonates for somebody, because I read this book called "Take Your Life Back: Surviving Cults and Abusive Relationships." You get it? Cults and abusive relationships, because there are so many similarities that somebody actually wrote a book that, covering the fact that the abuse and the recovery is identical from cults and abusive relationships.
down. But that makes a lot of sense. That it
Yeah, it does. Anyway, it's a good book. I recommend it if anybody wants to read it.
gonna get that. Um,
Yeah.
the thing is too is so I hear Scientology, is this true that you are essentially made to believe or taught that everything you pull in, meaning everything is you had a part in or the only part in. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's 100% accurate. The idea being you are as they sometimes say, the captain of your own ship.
Oh,
So, if there's a storm and it sinks your boat, um, you just weren't a very good pilot. Whatever it is, it's your fault.
yeah,
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Let's talk about taking responsibility for things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's empowering. If
yeah,
somebody victimizes you horribly, something horrible happens to you at some point in your recovery journey, it is not a bad thing for you to ask yourself, what could I have done differently? It's
yeah,
not a bad thing for you to look to yourself for some accountability. It's actually healthy. If you're blaming yourself for it, that's very unhealthy. But if you're literally saying, what should I do? Why do I keep, joining cults or having the same relationships with the same kind of people? But what Scientology does is they weaponize it by asking you, if an organization ever asks you, what did you do? Why are you still having those relationships? And that person is not like your therapist or
mm,
your best friend that you trust. If an organization is asking you, what did you do to make that happen? They're abusing you.
yeah,
And so they've taken something which is actually not unhealthy mental health wise, and they've twisted it into this thing. So everything is your fault. Which, what does that mean? It means nothing's their fault. It means they can
right.
get away with doing whatever they want to do.
Wow, it's so unbelievable. You know,
Yeah.
that stuck out to me is because in 12-step programs, I was mostly in AA, NA a little bit, but I was really hardcore into it. And when anything happens to you, it's your fault.
Oh
And
yeah, totally.
simplifying it when I say it like that, but
Right.
it's your part in it. Well, and then in the big book it says, well, you got the ball rolling. Basically, you started it.
Right. Right. Exactly. And then it can even go so far as to say, well, what were you wearing?
Do you know that that played a big part in me with this past relationship?
Well,
Thinking
it doesn't surprise me.
that it tricked me because I was so conditioned for 10 years to believe that's the way, that
Right.
accountability. and only for yourself. You don't worry about what the other person says, is what they say.
Right, right, right.
It's held.
Hey, Lindsay,
Yes.
Victor Roberts put up a comment at 8:04 my time,
Where?
which I think is a really interesting question. It needs to be answered. He
Who is
said,
it? Victor Roberts?
Victor Roberts. Okay, he says, no, not yet. That's not quite. It's this one. So you can punch somebody. You can go and punch somebody, and then you apply Scientology and you ask them, "What did you do to pull that in?" That one. Can you see that? So
Where?
you can punch somebody. So you can punch somebody. Do you see that one? Because I really want to explain how that. Because that's a good question. I really want to explain how that.
Wait.
No, just go
Oh,
down. Oh yeah, there. So you can punch somebody and then apply Scientology and ask them, "What did you do to pull that in?" Okay, so here's how that works. Let's say two staff members get in a fight. I've seen it. They should just get to blows. They start punching one another in Scientology. What happens is they both get pulled into ethics, and the person that started it and did the punching is in trouble for attacking a staff member. But the person who got attacked is asked by the ethics officer, so what could you have done differently to prevent that from happening? They both get blamed equally in Scientology. So that's the answer to that question. That's how it works.
wow. Wow. What does this mean? Gets worse and Scientology not helping is integrity? What's that mean?
Well, I think what they mean is Victor Roberts. I think what he is again making this comment. I think what he means is uh so there's there's a management style in Scientology, which essentially is the people that are under you, and for David Miscavige, that would mean everybody in Scientology. If they don't fear you, you're not a good manager. Like you can't get in trouble as an executive or even a low level manager for not being hard enough on your staff. And so if you're helping them, then you are thought to be like worker friendly. They accuse it of being kind of socialistic.
Mm,
You need to be tough on people. You know, they're the original, you know, sex negative, tough love cult.
wow.
So I think that's what he's talking about.
I gotcha. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and Margie Barr said, and thank you, Margie, for echoing this. She said, "Fractured crowd." I
Yes.
recently I referred to this community as being fractured, and she said, "That's a big
Called
understatement
it
right
trauma
now."
community.
Yeah, it is a big understatement because this so-called community is very fractured right now. It's kind of really lost its way. I spoke about this on my channel about how we never hear the word movement like we did with the anti-war movement, the civil rights movement, the ban the bomb movement. These things were all movements, and a movement it can't exist without a community to support it. You can have a community without a movement, but you can't have a movement without a community. If that community can never get itself together as a community, you can never have a movement. So
Right.
what you have is a popularity contest with a lot of people buying for subs and a lot of people farming for interaction with the public because that's how they're making money. And then it's like leaning into the things that create more and more engagement, no matter how hyperbolic or BS they are. Of course, a lot of that data is information is completely true, but some of it is a little sketchy.
We were talking about that a couple weeks ago, and that brings me to the question of what do you think? How do I word this? Kitty, get down. What is this fixable?
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Anything's fixable. It just has to be a matter of
How?
you either clean the house and you take out the garbage, or
Okay.
people have a come to Jesus moment and they realize what this is all about, and
Mhm.
they don't hesitate to say something because they're worried about losing subscribers, and they don't say things strictly to
Yeah.
gain subscribers because there's nothing wrong with making money, but there is something very wrong with greed. And if you make money because you're being passionate and saying what you believe in, that's not greed. When you're trying to calculate what level of engagement will cause you bring you the most personal gain in spite of anything, that's called greed. And you know, and like in the movie Wall Street, when Michael Douglas said greed is good, we all looked at him and said, "You're crazy," because we were like, "Oh my God, this is how psychopaths on Wall Street act." So
Huh.
if we could get the greed out of it, make all the money you want, but get the greed out of this thing, and it's the second it got branded, it got this brand, like a brand, like there was no brand in the Vietnam War. There was no brand. It wasn't like, but this community, it even accepted a brand, which is like a commercial enterprise. And it became all about, well, the money and the subs and who's got the most influence. I keep saying this over and over again, like I'm a broken record. There's a book by a guy named Clay Shirky, Sharky. He's a professor of new media at, I think, NYU or Columbia, I forget. He is the number one spokesman, and on regarding the internet. He wrote a book called "Here Comes Everybody: The Power of Organizing Without Organizations." And he made it very clear in his book that organizations on the internet are based on connection and influence, and whoever has the most connections, they're the leader of that group. And
Huh.
so nobody can say, "I'm not the leader," because you can just look at it and you go, "Oh, who's got the most connections and the most influence? That person is the leader by definition." That's how the internet works.
Yeah.
So anyway, I highly recommend that book. I think I'll maybe put a link on my page. I've linked this book so many times. I wish everybody would read it. I was handed this book by one of the gurus of search engine optimization and reputation management on the internet, handed me this book and said, "You'll never understand the internet until you read this book." And he was right, because when I read it, I was like mind blown. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
Margie, you said, I don't think she was referring to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you talking about, hon? Did I miss something? I miss a lot.
Okay, well, Victor Roberts has clarified his earlier statement.
Say that again.
Victor Roberts has clarified his earlier statement. He said Scientology teaches, this is what he meant. If it's your integrity if you decide to help or not help others. So, and yeah, he's absolutely right. Like, everything's your fault, everything's your decision. And we all know the hypocrisy of if it's your decision not to spend $10,000 that month on Scientology, that's they're gonna that idea of you having agency just totally disappears. But yeah, it's like, I didn't help the person because I didn't want to help the person is a totally valid statement in Scientology. So he's absolutely right. Thank you, Victor Roberts.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you I'm learning a lot. This is wild. Hey, Mandy, this is my wonderful friend and mom.
Oh,
this
Mandy
is
McGee.
We're going to do a stream together, all three of us.
Cool. Anyway, never mind. I don't want to go down another rabbit hole. Okay, cool. So.
Oh, wait, let me see. Hi. Oh, hi. I watch your channel sometimes.
It's Peeling the Onions here. Oh, nice.
Is it Mark? Or not
yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark and Janice.
Okay.
Mark Fisher and Janice Grady. Yeah, she's great. They're great people.
Really?
Truly, they're great. Yeah, Mark and I have been doing. He invited me on. He has a channel dealing with Las Vegas, where he talks a lot about Las Vegas.
I love that. But what about Las Vegas?
Oh no, well, Mark has a channel. Mark lives in Vegas. They both live in Vegas, and they've lived in Vegas for a long time. And he does like informational stuff about Vegas. So anyway, on his. He invited me to do some movie reviews with him, and we've been doing that. And I invite you all to check them out on my channel or Mark's channel. I think they're on. What is it? I don't remember. Hey, Mark, I don't remember the exact. Could you just put your channel where we're doing the movie reviews, or you can watch them on my channel.
Scientology Peeling. Can you put the link in there, hun?
If you want, just put the link on your channel. But anyway, I'll tell you a funny story. They were the first people I appeared with live on YouTube, because I knew how much David Miscavige hated Mark for speaking out. So I wanted to be seen with him so that Miscavige would understand that Mark Fisher was my friend, and Miscavige can fuck off. So anyway, it's a little inside baseball. We don't need to talk about that.
No, but it's.
Oh, there it is. It's called Las Vegas Travel and More.
Write this down. I will
Yeah,
definitely subscribe to me
yeah,
too.
check it out. Yeah, check it out. It's Mark's.
'Cause I
He's
subscribed to one
yeah,
of yours. Is this a different one?
yeah. No, they have. I think Mark is. He has a channel with Janice.
Okay, that's
Janice was one of the original messengers on the ship with Hubbard. Her
what.
mother founded Celebrity Center. Her mother was Yvonne Gillum Jench, who was just this amazing woman who I credit as saving my life. But
What?
anyway, she's like one of the maybe two people in Scientology who it doesn't matter if you're in or if you're out. Nobody has anything bad to say about her because she was truly a wonderful person who was just horribly um, trapped in Scientology.
Wow.
Okay, good. Thanks for stopping by, Mark. I really appreciate it. Okay, good. So yeah, and Vegas is cool. I've been wanting to do a show with Mark, and he and I are going to do this, talking about all of the notable films that have been shot in Vegas. The Viva Las Vegas, and
Vegas.
not just shot because like there's been way more films shot in Los Angeles, but not because it's Los Angeles. But a lot of films are shot in Vegas that really feature Vegas. Leaving Las Vegas. What was the one where the wedding in Vegas one? That one, whatever that was.
Chase. That's my favorite one.
Which one?
Is it Chevy or Chevy Chase?
Oh, the Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
He did a Vegas vacation film.
Yeah, I've watched
right?
it like 200 times.
Yeah. So Mark, now it's been publicly announced we're going to do a show about films that Vegas featured as Vegas in the film. So
oh God, I have so many I could help. Oh my God.
yeah, there was the Italian Job.
Oh,
It was,
were they dressed?
Yeah. Anyway, something to look forward to. Life is not just about abuse and Scientology.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Honeymoon in Vegas. Thanks. Thanks, Mark. Of course, you would know that.
Oh, I got married in Vegas at the little.
You did? Oh, nice.
My wedding cost less than my divorce.
Nice. Yeah, Nicolas Cage playing Elvis. It was such an amazing film.
Hold on. It's really disgusting how this cult uses good people and then turns horrible. Yeah, it turns horrible people into full narcissists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I've always said that Scientology is a finishing school for narcissists. And I'll tell you why. I can tell you the exact technical reason why. There's a concept in Scientology called 8008, right? It's a book. It's the title of a book. Okay. And so, no, 88008, that's the name of it. And so the concept is that when you come into Scientology, you believe that you are this big and that the universe is infinite. That they prey on this idea that you could stand under the sky and you could look at a ceiling, a jeweled ceiling of countless stars, and you're just so insignificant compared to that. And that basically Scientology teaches you're indoctrinated into believing that you're small and the universe is infinite, and that what it's going to do is by regaining your OT powers, you will become infinite and the physical universe will become small. Now think about that. Okay. Think about that. So Buddhism and a lot of Eastern traditions teach us that the ego is an illusion. And by hanging on too tightly to the ego, it's the cause of all our pain. Yeah. But what Scientology does is says, no. We're going to blow that ego up bigger than the universe. I mean, and hence people become very narcissistic because they believe that they're bigger than the physical universe.
I never heard that. I never knew that. That is wild.
Yeah. And then this is, so Kate Taylor says,
let me see.
I was heavily involved in Landmark, a covert cult. I came out and it was like,
I've heard of it.
What the expletive just happened? It was the best of times and the worst of times, but I am better for the experience. Well, I'm so happy for you that you processed it to that point, because ultimately, again, to make a reference to Eastern religion, which I don't practice any religion, but the Buddhists do point out that our pain is where our lessons learned lie. So unfortunately, a lot of us, are fortunate in that we took the lessons. Like when you realize that you're never going to learn anything from joy, you're never going to learn anything from pleasure. It's great to experience, but what you should be pursuing is the things that cause you pain, because that's where your lessons are, and that's how you'll arrive at or like a real joy. And it seems like Kate did that because she's able to look back at it and say, "But I am better for the experience," which is kind of where we all have to get.
Just the way, just that small paragraph, I could see the progression of her healing, like just because of the way she worded it, like you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And Landmark, by the way, is a Scientology offshoot.
That's what.
Yeah, so Scientology was kind of the prototype for all these modern cults. It's just
Mhm.
like,
It's wild. There's another one that I have a friend, Educo. Have you heard
oh,
of?
another cult?
Yeah, I want to.
I don't know that one. I know there was the one, I don't think it was Landmark. What's the name of that athleisure yoga clothing store?
Oh,
Oh, that's aimed mostly at women. What is the name of that store?
on
Oh,
is
no,
it
it's the
cult?
what's that?
Is a cult?
I think it's Landmark. The people that somebody
Huh?
help me out here. There is an athleisure company. They're very successful. Lululemon. Okay.
No, it's Lululemon or some shit.
Lululemon.
Something.
Lululemon.
And they're
Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. It was started by Japan and Green Gables said
so
Yeah. Okay. So I believe it was Landmark. The founders of Lululemon, I'm just going to say it wrong because it sounds funny. The founders of it were, I believe it was Landmark, and then they were what do you they were sort of insisting that all of their employees took Landmark courses, and so they got a lawsuit. And Scientology does this with the World Institute of Scientology Enterprises, where the people who join that, who pay a license to them for business counseling, are made to take Scientology courses disguised as something else. It's completely illegal. But the Lululemon guys got sued, and they had to stop it. So they don't do that anymore. But it was that. It feels culty. I went in there. I was with a friend, and she wanted to go shopping in there, and I went in there, and it felt culty. I mean, anyway.
are you still in here? I was wondering. It'd be kind of cool to have her come on and talk with us if you're comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. But first, I just want to answer this one thing. Mine Sai. I want to amplify this one comment.
Where is?
Mine says, Mitch, though he preached against it,
Oh,
was
there.
LRH into drugs?
Yes,
He wrote,
that too.
yeah, he was, he was into drugs. He died on a bunch of prescription drugs, and
That's
not only was he into drugs, but I've spoken a little about this, and I will more when I'm done reading the book. There's a lot of content backed up, things I need to tell the world about Scientology that I witnessed and experienced. But when I was at the international base, like, they're really anti-drug, right? I was given Ambien. I was given what is it called? It's one of the not Xanax, but I was given one of the benzodiazepines. I was given all by their medical people, their quote unquote fake medical people, and I was even given chloral hydrate, which almost freaking killed me. This is one of the reasons. Sidebar: while people say, "How come Scientology doesn't go after you?" Because I have the most massive lawsuit, and I just I don't even, I don't want to say that because I don't want to.
don't.
It's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, so the medical liaison officer at Gold was like, they were feeding me so many drugs because they wanted to get me in session, and I wasn't sleeping. But then ultimately, I wasn't sleeping because of them. So, but
Um,
they like, these anti-drug people. And then I just read a chapter where, the Dan Sherman, the L. Ron Hubbard biographer who spoke at events, was heavily addicted to opioids because he started on those because he had really bad rheumatoid arthritis, and which could not be handled with auditing. So yeah, there's a lot of drug use at the top levels of Scientology that people aren't aware of.
I
Uh, yeah, and all the retail orgs, those are the orgs like L. Ron Hubbard Way, the orgs where a lot of the content creators we know worked and stuff. They never got that perspective They never got that. They never saw that or experienced that. They don't know about that. They think that the Sea Org that they experienced was the Sea Org that everybody experiences, but it wasn't. It's different. Like Scientology has this commonality in every Scientology organization, but it also has a variations as one moves up echelons. It becomes it's applied differently. Like my being given all those shrugs, that was like, you couldn't do that at a retail org. Like it could never happen. I mean, I refer to them as retail because that's where the cash registers are. That's where the credit card machines are. They don't, I mean, maybe Reception Gold has a credit card machine or a way of taking money because they have, local people come in for tours and they try to sell them books. But for the most part, places like Celebrity Center or ASHO or the Advanced Org of Los Angeles, I refer to those as retail Scientology because that's where they take the money.
When you're finished, I have a
I'm done.
question I'd like to ask you. This might take you a second to think about it, but what is your honest take on what draws people into Scientology? What keeps people into Scientology? Well, one question at a time. What do you think the appeal is? Because I think I know, but I want to know. I think it's things like that. But when they're recruiting people, what is that moment to when they're like, yeah, man, like what do you think it is when they know media nowadays?
I think it's a couple of things.
Yeah.
I missed your last statement.
Just because of the media and everything, it's quite well known.
Well,
but I guess that doesn't matter because people hear stuff all the time and don't believe it.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think anybody's joining Scientology right now.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, the test center on Hollywood Boulevard that got, ostensibly closed down, which I was intimately involved in setting up, which is why I went down there to call bullshit on the place. But that place, they've never recruited anybody that I know. And I would have seen the reports up until 2020 when I was still engaged in that shit. They've never recruited anybody. Not one person has ever been recruited. Let me repeat it. Not one person has ever been recruited through the test center. They've sold some books and they've sold some courses and they've showed a lot of films. The reason it's there is so they can point to it and point to the content which features their quote unquote social betterment organizations, and they can show the IRS that they exist for the public good. They don't care that it's shut down. I mean, David Miscavige is 2 blocks down the street looking at binoculars going, whatever. Like,
right?
What's that?
Putting properties up, they're making it look good. They're making it look like there's more people involved.
Yeah, but mostly those places exist ostensibly to recruit people. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they can point to that and other places that have those public information displays and give those tests. And they can say, look, we've got anti-drug, we've got, morals training, we've got, volunteer ministers. We got, look, it's there. We'll show you a video. And then, they can show the IRS, look, we spent a lot of money on this place for the public. Like, so they don't care that it's shuttered because nobody ever got in there. They just shuttered it because they don't want anybody in there looking at their staff. Hey, I just have to put this one thing. There's a couple of interesting comments.
Which one?
Okay, so Victor Roberts said it looks like it was Pat Broker at the behest of David Miscavige. I'm not. This was done to. That's about the falsified. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with all that. I can't speak to that. The only firsthand information I have about that time period is his wife, who I knew as Annie Tidman, who was the. Sorry.
Here's another post. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I guess it goes to the other question.
Yeah, look at L. Ron Hubbard's death certificate and coroner's report. It can be found online. Now look at L. Ron Hubbard's signature. It's falsified. Use OT7 tech and ask who wrote you. Yeah, and I think then Victor Roberts is saying that looks like it was Pat Broker at the behest of David Miscavige. I would kind of doubt that because they were, you know, maybe I don't know. I just I don't want to chime in on that because I really don't know.
Because
I knew Annie Tidman, who was Annie Broker. I knew her really well. I knew her for years. She was one of my people, few people in the Sea Org up there that I considered to be a friend. She was really a wonderful person. Scientology sucks so badly that they didn't announce her death. She was dead for a year and a half. And I was asking, where's Annie? What happened to Annie? Can
wow,
somebody tell me where Annie is? I mean, because she was, when I first met her, she was the CO of what's called CMO Gold. And that's the Commodore's Messenger organization that's over Gold. So
mhm.
naturally, me being the most top creative person at Gold, and we would be kind of interlocked and we got along really well and I really liked her. So I was like, what happened? And then somebody said, oh, she's dead. And I'm like, well, do I not get a chance to say goodbye or grieve or anything? Like, no. Anyway, they're just horrible people. But
I miss Simone.
so anyway, that's that. And then I wanted to put, Mark put up this comment. I think I might, I don't know where the hell it is. Mark Fisher said that he and Janice, where the hell is it? Never took so much as a Tylenol until they left Scientology.
I've heard
Yeah,
that a lot of ex.
yeah. Mark left in 1990. He was so lucky. He left like a few months after I got there,
Wow.
which was really unfortunate for me. But yeah, and things got a whole lot worse over the years. Although Mark was one of the first people. Uh, that I believe he was maybe the first person that was physically assaulted by David Miscavige, but I don't really know. In terms of the information I know, he was the earliest one. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so Mark's just verifying the fact that they're very anti-drug. Oh, so Tezzy D said, if you can find it, chloral hydrate is a
Yeah.
heavy-duty sedative.
Where is it?
Hey, Lindsay, have you ever heard of a Mickey Finn?
No. Wait.
It's Mickey Finn is where you go into a bar and they slip you a drink
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
you pass out like you're a sailor. They used to do this to sailors back in the 1800s.
Hold on,
They'd slip you a drink and they'd Shanghai you. That's the word Shanghai. The next thing you knew, you'd wake up on a boat on its way to Shanghai. That's what it means to Shanghai somebody. Chloral hydrate was the first anesthetic ever invented. And it was invented in the 1800s. This shit is so strong. You take a teaspoon of it and you are gone. You will not remember what happened. But the problem is you wake up 2 hours later. So they
Okay.
were giving me this shit because it wasn't a quote unquote psych drug. It was like, you get what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, unfortunately, the doctor that prescribed it, she's passed away, or I have her license removed. I'm trying to think of her name. I'll remember it, but she was a Scientologist doctor, and
Uh-huh.
they would call her up and and say, hey, Mitch needs somebody, so and so needs some drug. She would prescribe it without seeing the person. And in the case of these class 3 narcotics, these
Oh,
dangerous drugs, you go to jail for that. You cannot be prescribing to patients without seeing them in person. So you get labeled as a drug dealer and you get sent away. So her name was Megan Shields. She very unfortunately passed away, and she was like Gold's, personal doctor in their pocket. They needed drugs for somebody. She's the one who gave them to them, and including quote unquote psychiatric drugs.
wow. I just want to address one thing that I want to say thank you for oh, Liz said I'm here but I can't come on. And she said she's getting in the bath.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine,
I
Liz.
know. But one day I would love to do like a panel.
Yeah, we're just happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd love to talk to you more if you
yeah,
I think she's going places with this movement. And
Yeah, I
Mark,
think Liz is one of the people that could actually help to turn this into a movement
that's
as
what I
opposed to a fractured community.
well, I think she's actively doing it too. And and I feel bad because when I was upset about stuff, um I said things to her that weren't productive, like
Hmm.
they were rude, and I didn't really mm, there was no point to say what I said, right? And so I hope she really knows that I really, really am sorry about that. I was really messed up by what was going on with you know who, and thank
Yeah.
you again. And so I just hope she understands that. And I always have rooted for her since I realized the truth, that she wasn't who I originally thought she was. And so yeah, I don't know. Margie Barr said I didn't think Jenna was referring to Lindsay, and I didn't think that either until people sent me all these screenshots calling me names and stuff. But that doesn't matter because people that don't wait, what is it? People, what did Dr. Seuss say? People that matter don't. I fucked it up. People that matter don't mind, some shit like that.
Yeah. Well, we all make mistakes, and the question is, can we hold ourselves accountable and move on? And I think,
That's it.
yeah, that's it. Period. Like everybody, people are so willing to forgive. It's like if you just honestly put your shit out on the table, people will forgive you. I mean,
Then that's not your problem. You did your
yeah, like we all know somebody who's, apologizing to everybody they ever offended and trying to get back on their good graces, but they're not saying what they did or holding themselves accountable. You just lay it out there. If Bill Clinton would have said, "Yeah, I screwed up. I let this woman blow me in the fucking Oval Office." Excuse my language. Everybody would have said, "Yeah, okay, enough already." It's like nothing compared to what Kennedy or somebody else did. We just didn't know about it. Like all it, but unfortunately, although he was a successful politician, but he was not a successful husband,
mm,
and he really screwed that thing up because he just should have come out and said, "Yep, I did that. Can we please get back to running the country?" And then nobody would have cared. There would have been, there never would have been an impeachment. There never would have been,
it's
because
still
the public, accept, whatever. Let's just move on.
no.
The
It,
point is, I think we're all getting past all of this kind of toxicity, and we're like, why is this movement descended into a popularity contest with mudslinging when there's important work to be done?
let's talk more about that because I know you have
Sure.
thoughts because when we've talked, you have really really blown my mind with some of your insights and you've been around a lot longer and seen and been at the top. You know,
Yeah, I know.
savage
I
like.
know. It's as tragic as that is. Hey, okay. One thing I just, to get leading into that, Lindsay. Um, Thanks, Mark. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, so but Tazzy D said most U.S. Scientology new members are born in, sadly not recruited, but there's huge recruitment happening overseas, South Africa, for example. Yeah, I don't know how successful it is, their recruitment efforts. I mean, I just want to address the first thing, born in. Yeah, it used to be the number one recruitment pathway was word of mouth. In spite of the millions of dollars Miscavige would spend on Google ads and Super Bowl ads and all that kind of stuff, it still came down to word of mouth.
Wow.
Somebody's dating somebody, they get their partner in. The person they're dating. Somebody has siblings, they get them in. It was all word of mouth, and then the word of mouth disappeared because obviously of the internet. And then the most new Scientologists were people that were born into it. And I can tell you, from having raised children until they were teenagers in Scientology, nobody in my family has anything to do with Scientology. My former wife has people in her family, but nobody in my family, not my kids for sure. They hate Scientology. But when I saw how my kids, as they grew up, responded to Scientology, I knew, it just occurred to me, like, Scientology is never going to survive this next generation. They're just all going to call bullshit on it.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, they are. And by the way, my comment earlier, I want to clarify about the fact that the test center got shut down and it's never recruited anybody. That's not on the protesters. I'm not criticizing the protesters.
No.
The work they did to destroy, to damage Scientology's reputation online is good work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, take a victory lap for that. but not for preventing getting new people in, because that place is just useless. They're tourists. Like, how are they going to get into Scientology? They're from Keokuk. They're going to go in there and then go back to Keokuk. They're not going to get into Scientology. I never heard one report about recruiting someone from that place. And believe me, if they ever did, they would sing it from the rooftops.
No,
Like when they get like a kid, a 20-year-old kid who's going to college, who's super bright, who finished OT5, and they put him in a magazine like they're your typical Scientologist. They're not. They're a unicorn. They get one of those like every 5 years.
wow.
So anyway,
Because we're even told, or maybe didn't know, this is just pure speculation, that not that it wouldn't do any good, because of course it did good. It's helping to let Scientology know, like, we're here, we're not backing down, in my opinion. And
yeah, no, it's good for a lot of things. It's just it didn't keep anybody from joining, because nobody ever joined from that place. So,
maybe
but
they
it still exists as evidence to people like the IRS that Scientology exists for the public good. It still exists for that purpose. I mean, the real target, and I want to organize this, and I've been saying this over and over, and I'm going to do more content on it. If
yeah,
you have any interest in actually demonstrating at the places in LA where David Miscavige works and lives, send me your name. I'll compile a list. You can reach me at Scientologythebiglie@gmail.com, all one word. And we'll see if we can't make him feel a little uncomfortable, because he's
Scientologythebiglie.com. Wait, say it again.
it's Scientology the Big Lie, all one word, at gmail.com.
Email. Mandy,
So,
chat.
sorry.
I was asking my mod to put it in the chat. I
Oh
need
yeah, thanks.
to
Yeah.
press something
And
else.
just, I'd like to compile a list so that when we know David Miscavige is in LA, and I don't mind putting
Oh,
OSA on notice. Usually I don't say things like this because then they know ahead of time, but there won't be any date announced, of course. But, there's times when you can safely predict that he's in LA and he's working at a S&P or ASI, and he's living at the El Cadiz. I don't know, we should make our presence known, and, and ask uncomfortable questions.
right.
Like, currently, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm about to do a stream on this, there is a Sea Org member being held prisoner on the top floor of that building,
That's right.
and this almost got found out during the fire because they were under evacuation orders, um, and like nobody's doing anything about it. So it's like there's you could demonstrate all you want. It's fine at the test center, but 2 blocks away, there's literally a person being held prisoner on the top floor.
About that. Do you want to talk more about that now?
No, because I'm going to do a stream on it, and I don't think
What he said, right?
I'm not saving it for content. I'm just saying it's happening, and send me an email so we can organize a demonstration and bring some public attention
Yeah.
to this. Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't mean you're using it for content. I meant because it's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to take, and especially on how the fire, the evacuation orders, what that must have meant to them, and blah, 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 and why this person and who this person is. And I know them. I know them personally. I worked at ASI for a year and a half pretty recently. I mean, like 2015, 16. And I was there 5 days a week. I had dinner with this person.
Wow.
And, so I have a connection with them, and I like, wow, I know about this. And, so yeah, we'll get to that, but that's, anyway, that's that. Okay. Victor Roberts said, and I think we're going to cover, you asked me a question, and I think I kind of,
Hold on, I want to ask you after I read these, because I don't want them to think we forgot about them. Okay, we took the book.
Okay.
Christy's my good friend. She said it was a long time ago, but I know 2 drinks wouldn't account for 6 hours of lost time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember what we're talking about that brought that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's the context is. Hey, Christy, Nicole, could you give us some context there?
Yeah.
Victor Roberts, I just want to say, he said they altered the Pure of Tech in the 90s Since
What?
then, people die there. I almost died after having 4 espressos and 200 milligrams of niacin. I'm sorry to laugh. And vitamins. Don't mix alkaloids and niacin. Wow, that's crazy.
That's what he said. Let me.
Well, yeah.
What the hell? Look at this. Read that one. I broke out. God, I can't. Hold on. I broke out in a rash.
Arriving at La Quinta. La Quinta
Oh,
was
by my house. That's the one by my house.
no, 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 no. La Quinta is a resort town in near Palm Springs, California. And that's where, when Hubbard went into hiding with all of his messengers, including David Miscavige and Mike Rinder and some other people. I think Mark Fisher might have been there,
Wow.
and Janis. Those guys might have. But anyway, he went and he set up this base, and that's where he started making films. That's where they started making the really horrible films. And then they moved to Gold. But the La Quinta was headquarters for a while, and apparently. Where's that comment? You took it down.
Oh, I just went to the next.
Yeah. So apparently Professor Kakan was there at La Quinta, which is really a fascinating part of Scientology, of Sea Org history. And he says, or they say, because I don't know their gender, it's Professor, which is masculine. I get no, it's not. That's a genderless noun, pronoun. I was 10 feet away from the boss, meaning L. Ron Hubbard, on the set.
You were?
No, this guy. I'm reading his thing. Now, I never was anywhere near Hubbard.
Right.
On the set. Jim Din took me to a clinic in town under my AKA. It was just an allergy to olive trees blossoming. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot of olive trees there, and date trees.
Wow.
So, okay, I feel I'm obligated to answer this. What were you told in Scientology about what happened to Lisa McPherson? Well, I think you could take. You should
put it up.
You should take this comment down.
I know. I'm trying to find the one.
Yeah. Okay. What were you told? Oh yeah, Mark Fisher says yeah he was. I thought you were there, Mark. We'll have to talk about that sometime. Okay. Somebody said, "What were you told?" And so, okay, Christy Nicole asked, "What were you told about?" What did I know? I'm trying to think, because I didn't know about the whole thing and what really happened before I left. A few years before I left, but at the time, all we knew was this woman had died. This was a Gold, so this would have been very different than your run of the mill. Your run of the mill org wouldn't have known anything about it, except maybe at Flag, but every other org wouldn't have known about it. What I knew was that this woman had died at Flag. It was a huge legal flap, and Mike Rinder and David Miscavige were going to be away at Clearwater for some time, and that nobody was to put anything on their lines. Nobody was to send them any bad news, which is why when Mike says he didn't know about Danny Masterson, that's why, because there was a concerted effort to keep away from that. And people want to they keep talking about chloral hydrate, because I guess I didn't say enough about it.
Am I not seeing the same comment? Am I missing?
Well, I maybe not, because I can't control the comments, but I think these comments, because I'm streaming to mine, I think these might be on my channel, but it says here, Christine Nicole is a new member, and I don't have memberships.
Mine. Yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah, which is cool. I was thought about doing memberships. If anybody thinks I should, send me a note. I'll do it. But it's like, I honestly want to earn them. I don't just want to have them for no reason.
I want you to subscribe.
So yeah, so back to chloral hydrate. It's like a roofie. Like you could use it as a roofie. And maybe some people do. I don't know. I mean, it's not used much anymore, but they used to use it to knock people out and saw their limbs off, but it's pretty nasty stuff. And the thing is, I had sleep apnea and I didn't know it. I was undiagnosed. And when you give somebody something like chloral hydrate, you can kill them. And I came very close to not waking up and having a stroke, and like it came very close to killing me.
So much for
Uh, sorry.
so much for having doctors there.
Yeah, so much for being anti-drug, eh?
Asshole. Sorry. It's just, because I work in that field. It's so dangerous, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's not a
I
good thing.
done a long time ago,
You
like
what?
10 years ago or something, 7, 10 years ago.
What happened?
And I was messaging him because I was like, hey, what do you give for detox meds? Because they're against meds, right? Well, I think Aaron or someone else had explained to me that, well, those are detox meds, so they're different.
Oh, I get it.
But that's a cop out kind of, because they're all the same. It's just that you can die and they could be held responsible and liable if they don't give you certain meds. I don't know. I was just thinking about that, but it's just interesting how they twist things to, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it is. And some of it is like, I mean, the thing about giving me drugs to help me sleep, there was this, I think it's a flag order, maybe like some kind of ship order or something,
Uh-huh.
which I read. There was a guy on the ship, and I'm sure there's other people who were there that could have more details than I do, but I just read this from a reference. There was some guy on the ship who lost his shit and went completely psychotic, and Hubbard wrote, it's okay to give a person a soporific. A soporific is an adjective for sleeping pill. A soporific to help them get some sleep. In a situation like that, a person has to get sleep because they got to get in session. And so at Gold, they reinterpreted the word A to mean as much as you want. So there's also that, because to me, when I read it, it says a soporific. That means one time deal, but they just kept giving it to me. And then if it like made me like feel like I wanted to, not be here, I mean, I was on drugs for about 6 weeks up there. It was horrible, man. I was starting to get worried. And then I started refusing to take them. I was like, guys, I used to be an addict. I don't want to take your drugs, which
Right.
was my excuse for not doing it, because I've taken all kinds of medications that I needed. I had
Right.
pancreatitis. They put me on a opioid for a few weeks, and I didn't like jump back into, yeah, I just whatever. I'm sort of done with drugs. Yeah, maybe smoke a little weed, but I'm done with drugs.
I want to address a whole bunch in the chat because I feel like it's my responsibility to not.
Okay, well, listen first. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to shut up, but first I want to let your girl, Christina Cole, explain herself. This is at you.
Where?
She said the 6 hours comment was in regards to a comment about covering drinks. I was just saying I'd been roofied by a bartender. So covering your drinks doesn't always mean
That's
safe.
true.
Wow.
I've heard.
Wow.
That's insane. Sorry, Christy. That's sad. Um, there's some other ones I want you to address after, but I do want to address a few things around
Okay.
to be an irresponsible
Right.
streamer here. But first, Victor said good people forgive, bad guys don't.
Yeah.
You're saying. Hold on. Tazi D comment, people still need to make amends and privately apologize to people they harmed when are in positions of power. I agree.
Right. Right.
Hold on. Now this is something I want to address too. Romney 2008. Liz Gale, you're on the board of a charity for abuse victims. You were repeatedly confronted with evidence of your president's abuse, and the strongest thing you could say was Aaron was my friend. But I don't approve of everything he does. That's extremely irresponsible for a charity board member, in my opinion. Romney, did you not see that Liz resigned because ASL wouldn't answer questions? Hold on. After sweeping him for him for months, she knew for months, and suddenly when she realized she wasn't getting anything out of it, she jumped ship with everyone else. Liz said, but who was it? Professor Kakan. What's that mean? Who's Professor Kakan?
Oh, that I think that's part of a different conversation.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that?
Um,
Yeah. So we're just gonna move past all that.
no, but I want to address it because
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I think like I hate when creators ignore that stuff. I think Liz wanted the foundation to work. She gave ASL a lot of grace because he's great at Darvo. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Professor Kakan, in terms of you owe me an email, that's totally fine. Send it whenever. I would love to hear from you. Sorry about that. So
Hold
yeah,
on.
I mean, I think Liz's heart was always been in the right place. I mean, I think, you don't just, run out of a burning building at the first smell of smoke.
Here,
You
let
know,
me
you,
read this. Tazi D, I'm just a viewer. See, they're just a viewer. They're not in this. I am privy to no private info. And yet it was obvious from day one that Aaron was full of shit. He could not stop telling on himself. What's Liz's excuse? Oh, right. Romney
okay.
to a cult. By the way, I'm retired. Okay, so here's what I want to say. Liz, if I say in this chat I'm just concerned, Osa will track back old who and figure out who I am and cause problems for loved ones still in. Oh, we don't want that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So what?
That's totally understood.
And look at what Liz said. That was graceful. She said, "I did my best. I am learning. I hope to do better in the future." And Liz, I feel like you are. And I just want to say, um, just because we've done stuff, none of us are perfect. Okay, you've heard this a million times, right? But look, she's showing up every day. She's doing what we're all doing. We're all showing up every day. We're trying to change. We're trying to learn from our mistakes, or not even mistakes that we realize, just things. Life happens, and then we adjust our sails to what we learn. That's just part of life. And so the thing that I noticed in this community, I'll probably get hell for it because I don't have this in my community of the recovering addicts, is that people condemn people for everything and things that aren't even always true. And it makes me kind of sad because I think that's what fractures the community. Am I wrong? Like when people can't, like, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. Like, I think that people can do wrong, but they can always be redeemable unless there's serious charges or things involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, depending if I'm hearing you right, depending on the severity of the
Yeah.
damage you caused,
Yes.
may have a very strong bearing on your pathway back,
Yes.
but there's always a pathway.
Yes.
And I just want to point out that Liz Gale said, I did my best. I am learning. I hope to do better in the future. Thank you, Liz.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
if that's not even, you didn't do anything to me. So, but yeah, that's an example of somebody being vulnerable and taking responsibility. And, that's why
Well, and that shows that
I,
to me, it indicates that she's trying, and people get, you know what? I gotta say though, too, those people were victims too.
yeah, that's a fact.
I can't. Everybody wants to blame all the people around them, and I did too. I was mean to Jenna, and I was mean to Liz, and I was mean to all them because I thought they were mean to me. But in reality, it was the man getting them all to turn on me, and it wasn't these women.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Well, Yeah.
We live and we learn. And
Yeah.
now
I mean,
I hope
yeah.
to, I hope to be, I hope my changed behavior and being good to them can help. So that's all I gotta say. Sorry. I just wanted to swing
Right. Yeah. No problem.
because I care. And I am ashamed of my behavior when I was feeling backed into the corner, whether or not that was not blaming anybody for it.
Right.
So, oh, look at what he said. Imagine people in AA condemning each other for being drunks. Guess what? We don't shoot our wounded. Wait, we
No.
kill our wounded, or is it we don't shoot our wounded? We're always there, and I think principles per. When we were talking earlier, I was thinking this, Mitch. When you're talking about the movement,
Mm-hmm.
principles before personalities is what always makes me think of because of AA. That I may not like you, I may not love you, but if we're in this together, we have this commonality, then maybe I just lost my train of thought. Then maybe it can move forward.
Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
I
want to argue
mean.
with anybody, but
Yeah.
I
So okay.
know that person very well
Hmm.
of Ivy Lee. I know that he God, I don't want to talk shit, but you're wrong.
Yes. Well, people are entitled to their opinion, and your opinion is a reflection of you more than it is a reflection of the people that you have an opinion of.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that.
I don't make
For
stuff.
example, for example, Ivy Lee, if you want to put it up, she expressed her opinion, identifying it as popular, maybe unpopular.
Yeah,
Uh, I've
I
got maybe an unpopular opinion, but I believe that Aaron is genuine in his advocacy for the victims of this cult. Is he a perfect person? No. But who is? I hope Lindsay can find healing and value.
thank you. I just read the rest of it. So sorry for pouncing.
Yeah,
Um,
no problem.
I mean that with thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I just it's not my business to shout from the rooftops about how he really is because that comes out in the wash and people make their own decisions.
Yeah, ultimately. I mean,
Right?
I disagree with you, Ivy Lee. I mean, I don't think your position is unpopular. I think your position is actually the majority position,
Which
because yeah, that he's sincere about helping people because that is the majority position. I personally don't think so because I think it's altruistic narcissism, which is a person who appears to care because they really just want to ingratiate themselves to you, and that's just what I think. And I'm not trying to, I'm not here to like bash Aaron's. I don't even talk about this stuff. I came on to support you,
yeah.
but
But we can talk about hard things and not have
sorry.
to hear retaliation.
Yeah, I mean, and they have helped some people. His foundation has helped some people, but I I do believe that his number one focus is on making money on YouTube, and that he orients all of his quote unquote helpful actions around what will get the most content. Sure, there's some people they give money to, and they if somebody doesn't want to, I mean, I don't think they do like pay for play. In other words, they don't say, "Hey, we'll help you if you come out and tell your story."
Oh, of
I don't
course.
think they do that. I don't think they do that, but I do think he salts the ground with help because it's aimed at creating content. And if you want to hate me for that, hate me. But let's like just tell me why you think that. I mean, I'm curious why Ivy Lee it was Ivy Lee, right? Why she thinks that. Yeah. What do you base that on? You said I believe, but what is that belief based on? I mean, my opinion is based on the fact that he did a lot of damage to some people who really were helping. like he a reputational damage, like Mark and Claire Headley, who had been out of their own pocket
Like,
helping people leave
yeah,
Scientology, putting them up in their own home for no other reason that they wanted to help. And he attacked those people and attacked other people of that mind. So I'm like, okay, that's why I don't believe it. It's based on that. But if you want to tell us what you base it on, please do. I mean, Aaron can be, I didn't want to get into the whole thing, but
no, it's okay.
he's very good. He can be very good on camera and very convincing. And,
It's very,
he could really get you to feel some empathy. Uh,
and
and like that. But I don't care. He can, I want him to do his thing. Aaron, do your thing. I'm not trying to tear him down. I'm not trying to take over. I'm not trying to replace him. I'm just here to express my opinion, and you can make your own opinion. You can listen to him. You can listen to me. You can listen to both of us.
all of
You
us.
know, it's
Yeah,
it's just yeah.
Aaron
Anyway,
done a good job, and I say this all the time, but it's the god dang truth is that made my hero. Okay, I'm not just saying that. Like, I looked up to him, like, wow, like, look at what he's doing, and I was so proud of him, and I was for a long time, and so it really hurt when I started discovering things, and I still don't want to believe a lot of those things, and I still want to believe he's a good person. I just think maybe he's been troubled by trauma, or I don't know, right? Like, I'm not a psychologist. Like, I'm just a little old addiction counselor. I have an opinion, but I don't hate him. I really wish him the best, and that's genuine. I really do. I just I saw, you guys know I was with them for like 4 or 5 years, and so I saw him before he had a job, and he was out drinking every night and doing stuff, and I don't say that to be mean, but I'm saying I saw him go from that to doing the YouTube channel and becoming successful, and a lot changed during that time, and the treatment of me and the treatment of others, and I don't know how that feels to become well known. I don't know. It could be difficult. You know what I'm trying to say?
okay, I
I
do. I do.
I gotta have compassion and empathy. But the last time I forgave him, a month ago, I mean, I forgave him like a little before that, like months before that, and then when
Hmm.
I forgave him, my guard was let down, and when he called me, it was like all was forgotten because I forgave him. So that's a lesson.
Yeah. Well, this is not a moratorium on whether Aaron is honestly helping people or helping people to manipulate and control people. It's not a moratorium on that. There's no judgment here. We're not sitting in judgment. We're just expressing what our opinion is. Uh, because if it was a judgment, then it would come with an ultimatum. Like, as a result of our judgment, he needs to step in front of a bus, and none of us are going to shed a tear. But that's not the case. All of this the main point is we need, as a community, to coalesce, and so that we can become a movement. And things that interfere with that should be brought up and discussed. So that's really all we're talking about.
Right. And the thing is, we're not perfect.
Yeah, and it's like anybody who honestly left and spoke out and said what happened to them, and accepts the consequences, and especially if they're just ending the damage that you were doing, and we were all doing some kind of damage when we were in Scientology. I was never an abuser in Scientology, um,
Yeah.
but I did enable them. I really enabled that cult, and that was my that was my thing that I did, and I've had to live with, and I've really tried to do what I can to make up for it. So you have to kind of, anybody that's done that, Liz Gale, she, everybody who was on the Aftermath show, regardless of what complaints they have about Mike and Leah and the producers, they did a really good thing. And they
Yeah.
should all be applauded for telling their stories, of being so willing to do it. But it's the people that come out and say, I won't accept therapy, and they kind of joke about all the KRs they wrote,
Yeah.
and they were kind of known to be a bully when they were in. It's like, come on, man, let's just like get with get with it. And it's not, I'm not trying to mandate how anybody should do this, because Aaron has brought a tremendous amount of attention to Scientology, to Scientology's abuses and so forth. I don't agree with all of his tactics, but he has done that. But do I think he's really sincere in helping people? I don't. I don't think that's in his makeup. You can't treat women that way and be, since I don't care. You can't separate your private life and your public life. You don't go to LA to advocate for 3 victims of SA, and then at night go party on, dude, with having just picking up strangers and going back to your hotel room. Sure, one's professional, one's private, but it's just like, let me explain it to you. This is a fundamental truth that I believe in. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name. It was a Greek philosopher back in those days. There was a lot of questions about whether life was fated, or whether you had some free will. This discussion still goes on today. Free will versus destiny, right? And this one philosopher stood up, and I believe this with every inch of my body, about every bone in my body. He said, your character is your destiny. Who you are, what you do, that's what's going to end up happening to you, right?
Yeah, I
So,
love.
David Miscavige, his character is his destiny. He's going to end up dying in prison, dying alone, being killed by somebody, because that's how he's acting. And so, if you say, well, my private life is one thing and my public life is something else, which is, once you become,
Public.
you yeah, I mean, once you put yourself out there in public, you don't have a private life. Just ask celebrities.
Right.
You have a private life, but you have to control it. You have to be very careful of it. I can guarantee you that the people we never hear about, the flaps in Hollywood, like, I don't know, Steven Spielberg, or various different kinds of people. Brad Pitt, I mean, sure, he's had his trouble with marriages and so forth, but you never hear that he's abusive. Do I have that wrong?
No,
Like,
no,
some of these,
it's actually.
what's that?
I just heard he was actually.
Yeah, okay, so, but he's the wrong one. But I guarantee you that there's a lot of these people that they're celebrities and they don't have any privacy, and they have bodyguards, and they have all of the negativity, the challenges that come with being so famous, and yet they're not, they know that their private life, if it gets out, it's like, that's because that's part of attaining the sort of power and wealth that they have. And so you can't just say, that's my private life, you know
You don't see them coming out with all these flaps, like.
yeah, there's just, you can tell, because you can sort of tell that, like, I think nobody was surprised when we heard about Harvey Weinstein. The
No.
guy, in spite of the fact that he was the first person to underwrite, produce, Quentin Tarantino, and, like, we probably never would have had Pulp Fiction without him. And Dame Judy Dench became an international movie star because of Harvey Weinstein. She was only a stage and TV star before that. She's got his goddamn initials tattooed on her butt because she's so grateful to Harvey Weinstein. So he did all these things, but none of us were surprised when we heard about it, because there were already so many rumors flying around, and that guy just always seems so creepy. So, but then think of all the people you never hear about. They're
I,
just nothing for to come out about them. Anyway,
but look at what. So, not to go on a sidebar too bad, but look at the Diddy situation. When I first heard it, I was like, nah, because that's my first instinct. Is like, this big powerful person. Oh, how did it take this long for him to get caught? Not to my own ignorance, right?
yeah,
You start seeing the evidence, the video, the this, the that, and you're like,
yeah, yeah.
oh, oh, and it's like, it's just crazy how, like, the cognitive dissonance of, like, can't, he's this superstar over here, and then over here this, and it's like, doesn't mesh together with my beliefs of him. And the thing is, isn't that like, I don't know how to say it. Isn't that like so similar to a lot of these celebrities and people that it happens to, because people don't want to believe that this person behind a camera or on the radio or whatever can be this destructive, abusive person. And
Well, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah. Yeah.
you know, and I think a lot of that has to do with people we know, like, and saying, well, no, they would never do that. No,
Yeah. One. Yeah. Yeah.
narcissist. I want you to talk about that because what do they do? Well, look at the charities that a lot of them run, trafficking, child trafficking,
Yeah.
and then they turn out to be the child traffickers sometimes, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to be a little cautious because there's a lot of really good charities out there, but
No,
it
no,
is it is a known fact that often the pillars of the community, the people that help and fundraise and everybody loves them, we find out in some cases that they're very abusive. And that's what, altruistic narcissism is. It's a pathway to gaining the kind of admiration which is gotten through. It's a form of love bombing.
trust.
So
I
yeah, it's but I don't want to paint all people who are altruistic as being altruistic narcissists because they're just not. But
no,
it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
it's just good to be aware of it. To where,
Well, yeah. The other thing is that I wanted to say about this is that as humans, we only understand things by fitting what we know into a story. Like
mm,
we don't look at things. We it's just how we live. Like, and the story can change. Like the story of Diddy, let's say. But wait a minute, he has a personal significance in my life because I love his music, and it's kind of been one of the soundtracks of my existence. So that makes it harder to change the story because once you
mm,
accept what happened, then you will perceive him differently. I got onto this, and I think I've talked about this. Guy Pearce starred in a movie about this guy. Shit, he was a Dutch art forger in World War II. Van Meter, his name was Van Meter, and the Nazis stole a lot of art, right? And so Goebbels, who was like the worst Nazi of them all, even worse than Hitler, he was in love with art, and he had a prized art collection, and he wanted more than anything else, he wanted a Vermeer, the Dutch painter. And so he Hitler wanted to get him a Vermeer for his birthday, so they went to this guy Van Meter, who was nobody knew he was a forger, but he owned an art gallery, and he said, I can get you a Vermeer, I can get you a Vermeer that nobody's ever seen. So the every art it was authenticated as an original Vermeer. And then after the war, when Goebbels was in Nuremberg awaiting trial and execution, uh, they discovered that the Vermeer was fake. And they told Goebbels, and just apparently that was the person I heard the story from said, yeah, that's when he realized what true evil was. Because but anyway, this guy Van Meter had painted it. He was a brilliant art forger, and he did it. He started forging because the world wouldn't accept his art. He was shunned by the art critics. So he's like, screw it, I'll show you how good I am. But unfortunately, he got thrown in jail for a year, even though he saved. He prevented the Nazis from taking ownership uh, of a treasured. But anyway, my point is the art world, who had accepted this painting as an authentic Vermeer, as soon as they found out it was a fake, it looked different. We perceived it differently.
wow, yeah,
And because that's just what we do, we look at things. Actually, our physical, optical, auditory perception change when the story changes, and sometimes that story is really hard to change, especially when you are emotionally invested in Diddy or somebody who's screaming from the rooftops that there's like children stacked up in Scientology basements being abused, or they're going, spinning some hyperbolic story. You get that emotional investment in that person, in that theme, and it becomes very difficult to change it. I think that's what you're talking about.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Ivy Lee, thank you so much, babe. Um, I hope you come. I hope you subscribe to me. It's Lindsay.Villandry. Um,
Yeah, don't misspell that because it's not philander, it's Villandry.
I
Okay.
flimsy, flimsy phalanges because remember on Friends they would call Phoebe. She'd say my
Oh yeah.
flimsy phalanges.
Yeah.
another one of my nicknames. So this is my YouTube. And you can email me anytime. I respond to every email. And just to shoot the shit or be friends or ask me questions, I don't give a shit. I'm here.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Great.
Another thing I wanted to say. Hold on. So let's answer. Wait, is there any more questions? Hold on. Yeah, there was.
I don't see any.
Hold on. Holy shit.
There's a lot of great comments. I can't believe these people that watch you. This is like a great bunch of people. Oh my God. Can you all please go, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, because I need really smart subscribers like you guys.
A lot far from your channel. See the one where it's like a link above the red YouTube thing. Those are my people. Yours are just the ones that are
asking about Scientology. So what?
Look. Thank you for did you read that yet?
No, Christy Nicole. Thank you, Christy. At Mitch, that's me. Thank you for your honesty and accountability. I have so much respect for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. But I want to read this comment from Ivy Lee because I think this is important. She says, Mitch, but all of this criticism of Aaron has been taken out of control with hundreds of channels making hate videos about him. We need unity. He is a big target for OSA, and this just helps them. Absolutely. This is why we're going to talk about him on this one stream, because of the stuff that's currently going on. And then we're never going to talk about him again. I never talk about him. I completely agree with you. OSA loves this stuff.
OSA and loves him.
Yeah. Yeah, but they also, keep in mind, Aaron has trashed a lot of people. I mean, think about it. I'm the most recent person to come out of the international base. I had all this information, and Aaron was like, nope, no way, dude. We don't want to hear it. And then people were telling me, well, you got to realize that he might be threatened because a lot of what you're saying doesn't comport with his narrative the way he spins it. Like, I have specific examples of that. And I'm like, no, that's not it. He's really a good content creator. And I don't know why he doesn't like me. And I don't know why he's saying, like, telling people not to watch my channel, and why he's texting me to pick a fight. I don't know. I never understood it, except, but does that not help OSA? So let's we can't just drop every conversation because it might help OSA. Look, OSA's a fucking clown car. Okay. You would be surprised at how little power they really have.
They're not even, they don't give a shit about him, in my opinion.
Well, David Miscavige, he couldn't pick Aaron Smith-Levin out of a fucking lineup. Okay. He doesn't know who he is. Aaron's constantly, what's that?
He's doing OSA's work for them.
Well, it's to some degree, but my point is that in order for us to become unified as a community, we may have to have some of these conversations, but I'm not going to make content about Aaron. I don't really care. I'm here to support Lindsay. This is, I think, a conversation we need to have. And then I've had it. I'm fucking done. Yeah, I could lose subs. Aaron could come after me again and threaten to do videos on me like he did before. Or just text me like he was in London with his family, and he texted me 9:00 at night, which is 5:30 in England. And I'm like, what's happening? And he's just like, wants to pick a fight. And I'm like, dude, are you like drunk texting me? He's like, no, I just finished a 6-mile run. I'm perfectly clear-headed. And then it's just spewing off like a drunk. So it's like, some of us who maybe have had some personal experiences with this individual are like, you want to know what? Aaron, please come to the table. Be part of this movement. Stop being a dick. That's my only message. And then I'm done.
I can't put words in his mouth, but from what I've witnessed, he's at the top of the food chain, and he believes and he said nobody would have anything and be on YouTube if it wasn't for me. I can kind of agree with that to a certain extent, but I don't really believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I could see why he says that, because he helped people get going. But a lot of stuff, there's a reason behind that. for his followers to be loyal to him when these flaps come up, right? Like me,
Right.
like Jenna, um, whatever, right? Tazi said until ASL gets to a therapist, understands they can't. If someone that's a true narcissist, they have a hard time self inflicting. What is the word?
Yeah, there's yeah, it's
Inflect.
here one look, I'm not a mental health professional. I be when on my for about the first couple of years after left Scientology, I read about a lot about various different mental health issues, and I came across narcissism. I read a lot about it. Um, I also had and I'm not the only person this happened to, but I had the very unfortunate experience of the first relationship I had after getting out of Scientology, which was a person who was extremely emotionally disfigured and exhibited some very heavy, covert narcissistic tendencies. I found out 3 years later from this person that they had been diagnosed with ADHD and autism, which is like, that's not a value judgment. Some of my closest friends are on the spectrum, but it is a fact that people with ADHD will love bomb. They make narcissists look like babies, but they really are in love with you because the way they think, they become fixated on things, they really fall in love with you, they love bomb you, and then they get bored really quickly, and then they misidentify that boredom as you disappointing them, and then it's all your fault. So it's a narcissistic trait, but they don't have narcissism, and not all people with ADHD present that way, but this person did extremely. So I got to learn a lot about it. I mean, I read a lot of stuff. And I didn't pay much. I watched stuff on YouTube, but for the most part, there's like this cottage industry of how to spot a narcissist, how to avoid a narcissist, 10 things narcissists say,
Okay.
and it's just a money grab,
It is.
because most of these people, and then it became the de facto replacement word for asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, the guy's an asshole. Why do you have to say no? He's a narcissist. He tried to steal from me. He's a narcissist. No, he's a dishonest asshole. Like, they're really, it's a pretty high bar. The bar has been lowered on narcissism to include being an asshole, which I think is a big mistake. But
Like what did you call it? The pop culture psychology. Pop.
yeah, it's pop psychology. I mean, that's really what it is. And I think maybe narcissism something has made it into the DSM. I'm not sure if it's even in the DSM.
No,
NPD, narcissistic personality disorder.
it's in my
But
personal
that's
disorder.
yeah, NPD but that's stupid thing.
Some five. It has to have a
Okay, it's in okay. So, but NPD is, from what I read, it's only affects 2% of the world population. It's like, that's like all the people in Scientology that all say that they were Marilyn Monroe in the last life. There's just can't be that many Marilyn Monroes. There can't be that many people with NPD. But there certainly are a lot of people with narcissistic tendencies. But I think most narcissistic tendency presenters are just assholes. They're just not, where. But here's a thing I wanted to say. One of the basic requirements from what I've studied of being a narcissist is that you cannot perceive that there's anything wrong with you.
right.
You cannot. This
Can't.
is why very few therapists will treat them, because they're basically go to get therapy so they can learn how to manipulate people. Because, if that's your mindset, you can learn in therapy how to be manipulative. And there are some very gifted psychotherapists who do specialize in treating people with a narcissistic, with NPD, not just narcissistic tendencies. But here's the deal. This is why when you see somebody on YouTube saying, I'm a recovering narcissist, or I'm a self-aware narcissist, it's bullshit. That's just a money grab. That's just somebody making money off a channel, because the moment that you actually realize that you're a narcissist, guess what? You no longer are.
Damn.
You are suffering.
Oh.
The people who actually make that journey from being a true narcissist to having emotional intelligence go through a tremendous amount of suffering to make that journey. It's just like, it's a shame-based disorder. People that have lots of narcissistic traits are full of shame. David Miscavige, I know, feels incredibly shameful about all the people he screwed up. but he has to blame it on them in order to avoid the shame. I've experienced this. Like, imagine this. I'll give you do this. It's a mental experiment. Imagine you stole something from somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
every time you see them, you feel guilty. But imagine if the way your mind works, the way your personality works, is you perceive that guilt that the other person makes you feel as the other person doing something to you.
Right.
They are making you feel guilty.
Yep.
Therefore, they are a bad person. And then you shit talk them and all of their friends, and you enlist flying monkeys. And all that happened was you wronged them and you feel shameful and you can't confront the shame. So that's why then these people experience such incredible, emotional dysregulation when they realize that they are a narcissist, because they have to confront the shame, which to them is unconfrontable. And
Mm,
they will cry and say, "I'm sorry, and I'll never do it again," and da, 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 because they don't want to go the whole way. They just want to get you back
the
so
next,
that they can abuse you some more. But anyway,
you're right. I
yeah.
want.
Plus, ASL has come. He says publicly all the time that he doesn't believe in therapy. He doesn't need therapy, which is fine. I'm not going to mental health shame people. You can. There's many ways to recover. You could study Eastern religion or philosophy, rather, which a lot
Not
of Eastern.
that do it.
Sorry.
If you're not gonna do it, just don't put other people down that do it. That's what I.
Yeah, and or yeah, I mean, but it's not the only way to recover. And I would never mandate to somebody, "Oh, you need therapy." That's just mental health shaming. I hear that shit all the time. He needs to get into therapy. He needs therapy.
I'd go-
I hear a few creators say this stuff like, "Ah, person really needs therapy," and I'm like, what? It's like you don't fat shame, you don't body shame, you don't mental health shame. You just try to live your life so that you can do less damage than maybe you used to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm off my soapbox for the
Like,
next 10 minutes.
Um.
But we're declaring this a free zone to have this conversation, and then we're done with it, because
uh,
I'm not on some campaign to ruin somebody. I
uh,
just want to see this community coalesce and become a movement.
yes. So this is the last time we'll be talking about Aaron, JM, any of the people, because it's not very becoming of us, and I don't want to. I just don't want to because it's not conducive. I just am. We're doing it now because I keep getting asked the questions, and I just want it to be once and for all done.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's people that are saying things like Professor Kalkan said when wearing his anti-Scientology hat, Aaron's content about Scientology is very valuable. 100%. His content helped me when I was leaving. I reached out to him. We had lots of conversations. I gave him lots of stuff, and then slowly over time, he just was like, blunting my message. What's the word? There's a word in the psychologist explained that comes before the discard. When they start to degrade you,
Yeah,
and then after a while they go, that screw off. But
yeah.
yeah, but you're right. It's valuable, which makes it even worse that he calls this negative attention on himself, because what he's contributed is so valuable. Um,
You know what I believe?
what?
It's the grandiose behavior, thinking I'm untouchable, that no matter what I do, and I've seen it firsthand. And
Yeah.
because it's like it doesn't matter what I do, nobody cares.
Yeah, somebody commented in here. I don't that something about how men, uh,
I saw that.
yeah, about how men become abusive with money. I mean, yeah, it's. I think it's mostly men. I think women are. It's a thing with power. It's like look in our country today. We've got a half a dozen billionaires that are taking the whole thing over. They
Yeah.
don't give a shit that it's like the more money they have, the poorer that people are. They feel like I have a book. I'll put a link on it if I remember. It's called Asshole. And it is a very funny book, but it's a very telling book. And it describes what an asshole is. And in essence, it's a person that acts the way they do because they feel privileged.
What's
The
it called?
guy, it's
Asshole?
called asshole.
Okay.
The guy in the Tesla who steals your parking space, he does that because he feels privileged. That is what an asshole is. So,
That's too good.
yeah, it's a good book. It's very funny. You'll never guess who gave it to me. Dan Sherman, the former, now not no longer alive L. Ron Hubbard biographer, actually gave me a book called Asshole.
Oh, you
Um,
I remember now.
what's that?
You told me about him. That's right.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because
Okay, so
yeah,
this, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore. Jake said he needs to stop treating women like objects. It keeps happening. Why do you want that man anywhere near a charity for victims when he keeps making more victims? Make more sense, please.
yeah,
Doesn't.
that's just a fact.
Um.
Okay, I found the book. Oh, there's more than one. The Art of Being an Asshole, The Asshole Survival Guide, How to Deal with People. Okay, I think the one I read is called Assholes, a Theory.
Listen,
Anyway,
lawyers in PR who silence victims handle it. That's
sorry,
what he does, right?
say it again.
Ivy Lee said because they have lawyers in PR who silence victims and handle it. They're talking about Scientology, right?
That's not that's a true statement.
But that um Mother Teresa was I actually heard this before. She's actually a terrible person and
Yeah,
reveled in this suffering. That's wild. Ted Bundy volunteered for unaliving hotline. See? That's wild.
yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, this did you read that yet? That's
From Professor Kakan, Dr. Robert Sapolsky of Stanford.
uh-huh.
Oh, Sapolsky, yeah, has written about free will summary. A person's next action is the sum of their experiences up to the present moment. Yeah, absolutely. I know about that. So, Robert Sapolsky is a really interesting guy. I believe he's the guy who he's on YouTube, no?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. He's a physicist. Am I wrong about this? Uh,
Close enough.
I'm just going to Google this because I think I know who this guy is. I think he just did yep, Robert Sapolsky.
The thing
He just did a stream. I'll try to find it and put it in the show notes. He just did a stream with what's his name, the physicist, the guy who wrote the physics of Star Trek. Uh,
huh.
No, what is his name? I can't remember.
I'm
I
like
know about this discussion. This is a thing in physics because according to physics, on paper, on the board with formulas and mathematics, the only result of the calculation when you are considering free will is that it doesn't exist.
mm,
Because think about it. You're going to buy a house. I'm going to buy that house. The number of things that happened in your life leading up to you making a decision to buy your house, and as far as many physicists are concerned, proves that there's no free will. I'm using a really simple
oh,
example. In other words,
int-
like the fact that you make a decision to get up and go to your car and drive to the burger shop, um, it feels like free will, but according to this theory, it's not. So I do know what you're talking about. A person's next action is the sum of all their experiences up to the present point. But keep in mind, that's an explanation. It's not an excuse. If
mm,
you're thinking that might be an excuse for abusing somebody because it's like you have no free will, no, that just explains why you wouldn't. You still can make the decision to keep your hands in your pocket and not punch somebody in the face.
yeah, very true. Very true. I am interested in reading that because it says a person's next action is the sum of all their experiences up to the present moment.
Well, there's a stream he just did. I watched it 2 weeks ago. Sapolsky just did this stream with one of my favorite nonfiction science writers, Lawrence Krauss. Thank
Oh,
you. Somebody just put it in there. Stephen Hawking wrote that. Okay, fine. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Yeah, Lawrence Krauss. I highly recommend if you're interested in science and you're not you're a lay person like me. You read The Fear of Physics. Um, yeah, so I caught Lawrence Krauss doing this talk with Sapolsky, and it's fascinating. So you kind of don't have to read the book. So you can get his whole gist because he explains it. And they have a really interesting conversation because Lawrence Krauss is not necessarily agreeing with him. And he's also Lawrence Krauss is a very noted physicist.
wow.
And he specializes in explaining physics to lay people, which is why I recommend reading The
I,
Fear.
I I would like to watch that. Look at what he just wrote. I really like that. I'm writing that down.
Two people confronted with the same situation will respond each based on their experience. Yeah, absolutely.
Trauma.
I think that's got to be a cousin of what's called, confirmation bias. Because
Ooh,
for one thing, they're only going to be accepting what already aligns with what they already believe. I mean, this is one of the biggest. This ties back in with what you were saying before about Diddy. Is that confirmation bias? If you guys have never searched Wikipedia for I don't know what you would search. Confirmation bias is one of a list of maybe 30 biases. There's a whole bunch of them
really?
in the world of mental health.
Logical.
And
Is-
yeah, logical fallacy is one of them. And they're really interesting. Sorry.
Ooh, I want to do a stream about logical fallacies with you.
Yeah,
I'm
we could do that. We should do a stream about the biases. So confirmation bias is basically this, and we all suffer from this to one degree or another.
it's in therapy that I teach all my clients. It's my favorite thing to teach clients because if you can notice those, once you keep you constantly read about it, keep it with you, the paper, you learn about it, and then it becomes second nature. And then when it pops in my head, though, the mind reading, oh, he doesn't like me because this and this, the future telling, oh, they're probably with another girl, and blah blah blah. And those are all those things are why we have anxiety and are at unease. Like, that's all it is. If we can eliminate that, it'd be a lot easier for us. You know that?
Right.
It's
Yeah, no, I've heard that. I've heard that. Hey, MX Mandy McGee put up a link. It's to the Wikipedia, so you guys know what to search. Very interesting reading. You just go to Wikipedia and search a list of cognitive biases. They're referred to as
yeah.
cognitive biases. But let me just explain. And a lot of you may know this, but so forgive me. But confirmation bias is our tendency, and this is a very strong tendency, to only believe incoming information that conforms with what we already believe. And we may get new information, which is 100% true, but if it doesn't conform with our pre-existing ideas, then we will reject it. And it's really
What?
something that you need to like literally exercise your muscle to say, wait a minute, could this be the truth? So it's like, you hear about Diddy doing all this stuff, and that's not, so you naturally are going to reject that unless there's a tendency you might reject it if you're already heavily emotionally invested in that person's work. That's all.
Well, which in turn it turns into cognitive.
Yeah,
Um,
it's cognitive dissonance. Well, yeah, I mean, then I guess it would, because then you have two things that are true. Diddy's an abuser. I love Diddy's music. Oh my God, what do I do? I'm going to just put the one in a compartment and put all my mental energy on keeping it hidden, as what we do in Scientology, and then I'm going to sort of slowly go insane because I have to hold these opposing facts as truth in my head and go with the one that is more comfortable for me, not the one that's true. Cult Eclipse said, "I love a show about cognitive bias." Yeah, we should do it.
okay, we're gonna
It's
do that. I have
yeah.
few more questions that are very important that I think they're very important.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, how impactful, did I ask you this? How impactful do you think the online community is in fighting Scientology as a whole?
Oh, that's such
Right.
an interesting question.
Not just irritating them, not just causing a ruckus, but effectively protesting, I guess you could say, and bringing movement.
Okay. Well,
That's very new.
yeah,
No.
yeah. Let me address that. Okay, so because this is definitely something I've thought about. I was watching this limited limited series on Netflix called, oh my God, somebody help me out. It's with Taylor Kitsch. It's called American. It's a Western, and it's like, I don't know, gruesomeness. I don't know, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the villains on this show, American, Fuck. I gotta look it up. Now, I can't believe my brain is Netflix.
You're funny.
Yeah, my brain sometimes, I don't know, I'm getting old or I don't sleep enough. So the name of this is American Primeval. It's good. I recommend it.
I'm
One of
right.
the villains are the Mormon militia. A lot of people are not aware that in 1850, when this story takes place, the Mormon militia was the largest standing army in the United States.
What?
Yeah, until the Civil War, the Mormons had more guns than the U.S. military, and they were a feared group. And the U.S. government in some of the Western territories had put out shoot to kill orders on the Mormons. So I think that that's David Miscavige's bar. He's like, well, at least they're not ordering us to be shot on sight, because I know he's really enthralled with the way the Mormons went from the way the Mormons, they exist 100% on tithing, on donations, and I've talked with Miscavige about this. I mean, he's obsessed with how the Mormon Church, all Mormons, really devout Mormons, they're all involved, they all interact, they all give money. He's like, how can I do the Scientology? And we've seen him move Scientology from a service-based industry, which sells books and auditing and training, to one where you just give money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why is that up there? How heartbroken Jenna was to find he was still sleeping with Lindsay.
But yeah, sorry.
But anyway, let me just finish this thing about
to click that
because you asked this question and then we can talk about that. And so I think the protest movement, I mean, it's like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to start defining it? When the people first started speaking out, when the OT materials first appeared back in the 90s on alt.religion.scientology. But let's just take it all. Let's just take it all as the push against Scientology hasn't been effective. Completely effective. Scientology has shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
It's the brunt of jokes.
Yeah.
It's had all kinds of legal trouble, and all of that is as a result of whatever was going on at the moment to push back at it.
True.
So yeah, that's what I think about that. Yeah, even though I said earlier that the test center, like let's not take a victory lap because we shut down, a place where they recruit folks, because nobody's ever been recruited there. The place is a total failure to begin with. But let's understand what it's there for, and it's there to prove to the IRS that they exist for the public good. And let's acknowledge the protesters for having put a real dent in Scientology's reputation online, which is a really good thing. Credit where credit's due for what the credit is due for. That's kind of my motto.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
That was a perfect. That was
A good answer.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay. There's a comment from Christy Nicole, I think it is. To me, it says, with OSA, do they just see negative attention? Is still attention on their religion?
What's that mean?
Well, what it means is it's like the old saying, I don't care what you say about me, just spell my name right. It's like that. It's like a PR thing. Like, well, at least they're talking about me.
Oh, like
right?
bad PR is still good PR kind of thing, or
yeah, like all PR is good PR.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like I think that she's asking that with OSA, do they just see negative attention? Is still attention on their religion? Yeah, to some degree. Miscavige was really fond of always saying, well, when these things blow up, what happens is it makes people more curious about Scientology. That's why they came up with that really stupid campaign, which I had nothing to do with it, about Curious, which is like, if you got a focus group together and you said, what thing? Tell me the first thing that pops into your mind when I say curious. They'd say bi-curious, or they'd say curiosity killed the cat. I mean, this is such a bad button to use because curiosity is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to
No.
cults and so forth. But what they do believe is that when this attention is the result of there not being enough positive information about Scientology. In other words, as Hubbard defined it, there's a vacuum of good information and it's being filled with negativity. And so, what we need to do, I don't know what happened to Lindsay, what we need to do is we need to fill it with the right information, which is why you're seeing this big ad campaign right now, like the one that,
Sorry.
Alex Barnes, the apostate. So, oh, there you are. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question, but they do, they see it as their deficit in terms of my dog is getting very impatient. He wants a snack. Dude, I already fed you. Do you need to go out again? He actually growled at me. I don't know if you heard that, but I thought we were friends, Weston. Okay, there's a treat for you. Go away. Um, anyway, so that's that. So MX Manny McGee said,
Very
to
smart.
resolve this tension, we often change, justify, or ignore the conflicting information completely.
Look at what you said before that. Cognitive
Yeah, go ahead.
comfort we experience when we hold two or more conflicting beliefs, attitudes, or values simultaneously. That's what we're seeing in real life action.
Yeah, you see that a lot. It's almost impossible.
I suffered with that for years. I would like to say one thing, and then this is the end of it. So you guys got it out of your system, okay?
Yeah.
It's out of the system, and the next time you're gonna be blocked. I give you grace this one time. I think it got deleted, but it said something like, why did you saw it, what did Jenna think when Lindsay was sleeping with her man? And I need to clarify this to people. Aaron cheated on me with her. We were together for 4 years. He secretly saw her and had her over at the house. I broke up with him. I didn't know that they were together. He was acting strange and being cold and mean. So I blocked him, said goodbye. Okay, that was in November. They were dating right then. I was very hurt. I suffered tremendously. Aaron convinced me many things, such as when he was talking to me, he said, you weren't supposed to ever know about Jenna, just the community, because he was going to continue to see me. And he made that clear, and I have text messages. And the reason I'm saying this for a reason, and I'll tell you in a second. This last time I had forgiven him and I had moved on. I stopped making hate videos about him, and I made hate videos about him because I wanted to warn the next woman. It didn't work, but I felt like I had a responsibility. For some reason, I was on this like social justice thing, and it just destroyed me. I wasn't jealous of Jenna. I actually thought that she was attacking me. Some people had said that she was behind the scenes. I don't know if she was. I like to believe that she didn't, because I think she's a very sweet and nice person, and that's not a fucking lie right there. I like her a lot. And so I don't want to think that she had anything to do with it. But I did for a long time, and that's why I attacked and called her names that didn't even make sense. Called her ugly. I think she's fucking beautiful. And I even talked to her about all this. We talked everything out. And I told her the dead ass truth about it. I was jealous. She said she would, I don't want to say what she said, but similar things, that so much in common. And it was just such a relief to talk to someone that knew exactly what I have been screaming from the fucking rooftops and being called a liar. And I made a video 8 months ago that came out And it was the same exact thing that Jenna had said. We both had experienced the same exact thing. I thought it was me the whole time. And I think Mitch, you said something like that too. You thought it was you the whole time, I think. I thought it was me the whole time and that Aaron just hated me. And that I was just a bad person and I was a dumb junkie, ex junkie. And I had to prove myself to him and do everything and walk on eggshells and just don't make waves. And I was mad at myself for not being perfect to where I couldn't not do that. And
Yeah.
it was an
Well,
impossible situation and I blamed myself that whole time. And then I thought I was so fucked up in the head that I would text him after and think that I like I blocked him for 6 weeks. And then I saw him on November when he came out and I was like crying because like I had been with him through that whole thing before that. And I just like my heart just like hurt for him, you know. I just wanted to, anyways. So I'm not trying to be boring here, but I just don't think people it's okay to attack me. I'm not going to control anybody, but I do feel it's appropriate to say the truth. um the thing is, you know, and then he was with her and didn't tell me, and then like 4 months later he said he came over in a couple days and we were together and just like whatever, it was just like the past or whatever. And then all of a sudden, we fight too much because there's too much history, and we both secretly probably hate each other because of a power struggle. We're kind of a little alike. Um, and so then she found out from me from text messages when I made that video. I had no idea about her. No idea about.
okay.
Anyways, so it happened again. He,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we all
but the
screw
reason
up.
I'm saying this is because I haven't had a chance to really explain it, and people think that I interfered with Jenna. They think I'm a mean person just because I'm an outspoken person. There are people that are not outspoken, and in front of people they're very quiet. But I promise you, they are not behind closed doors. Okay,
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
to say is that stop blaming me, stop blaming her, stop blaming the women, and if not, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, good. So,
That's all I got to say.
yeah, and yeah,
My
so we're not going to be talking about Aaron anymore. I mean, if he does something really outrageous and makes videos about me or does something silly and doesn't want to actually, whatever, I don't know. I'm not going to even mandate. I mean,
God.
whatever. If he does something really stupid, I would report on it, but I'm just not here to do that.
No, no,
But I do want to, but thank you for that, Lindsay. I'm sure people appreciate the clarification.
no,
I
yeah.
want to, there's a note from Tezzy. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted people to know that you didn't know I was gonna talk about that. You have no knowledge that I was gonna. The only
Yeah,
thing
we
is
weren't sharing notes. We were just wanting to catch up. And if that's part of catching up, so be it.
it was in the chat, and I felt like I'm an asshole.
Yeah, it's not a problem. No
I have
judgment from me. But
no.
I would like a moment to address this. I think this is an important comment from Tezzy D. She says, I'm watching because to me, I think you could do good work, but you do need to recognize that your experience of Scientology was curated, not what second and third generations experience. Okay, look,
What's that mean?
if you can find that, just put it up. Yeah,
Okay.
you're 100% right. I mean, I kind of like, I appreciate the comment and I know you mean well, but you're sort of trying to, I don't know you and you don't really know me. And you're kind of mandating, you're trying to mandate what you think I should do. And what you think I should do is lean more into trying to understand that maybe how different the experience of second and third gens is. And I got to tell you something. I know this. I had two kids that were in Scientology. I saw how it affected them until they were teenagers. This is something I've had to live with. But what I would like to say, and the fact that it was curated, I was in a very unique position because I was up at the most uppermost level interacting with these people, and they forgot I was in the room. I was got to be a fly on the wall and see shit that, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, like the hole and this, that, and the other, but there was a lot of stuff that I did, and I was able to come back and bear witness to all that stuff. But I also really want you to take a look at this, Tazzy D. Even the term second and third generation, they're responsible for the tribalistic breakup of this group, because it's like, of this community, it's been a barrier. It's like it has descended to the point where the people that grew up in Scientology can claim protected status
Yep.
and can claim that they're victim survivors, which they are. But at the same time, they claim that folks like me, who walked in the front door on their own 2 feet, are perpetrators. And a lot of them are. I was attacked for being a perpetrator. Tori Magoo has been attacked for being a perpetrator. Some of this tribalism has gotten out of control. One of the reasons I came out was because I saw how toxic Scientology was to my kids, and I wanted to make up for it. And I thought it would help people who grew up in Scientology, especially were born into it. I thought it would help them to see, oh, there's an adult who had kids in Scientology who regrets it and is speaking out. This is good. This is healing. But mostly I got attacked by some of the more extremist people who fly under the banner of, grew up in Scientology, born in Scientology, growing up in Scientology. We all have our experience. Their experience was horrible. I can't imagine what it was like, to be a child with fetal alcohol syndrome because you did not consent to your mother drinking while she was pregnant. These kinds of things that happen to children are horrible. But I don't think that I need to recognize that my experience with Scientology was curated.
Either.
A lot of these second and third gens are the ones whose experience in Scientology was curated because they either got it at home or in the Sea Org. The brand of Scientology that they got, I saw it, but I also saw it from the top. So I think I think I don't want to say beyond that realization, but I don't think you're correct in saying that I need to recognize that my experience of Scientology was curated, because it wasn't curated. It was influenced differently than people that grew up. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to grow up in Scientology. I've thought about this even in respect to my own children, and it's really hard for me to think about because I fully, totally recognize how toxic it was for them. And then when I was at Gold, I know personally, I think the last two people that were born in this Sea Org, two women in their 40s, and I don't think they've ever been married. Maybe they've been married for 10 minutes. Can you imagine what that's like? I mean, that must be just a horrible situation. But so it's one of the reasons I'm speaking out. So, if you think I haven't done good work and you think I could do good work, email me. Tell me what that good work would look like. I would really like to know. And I think one of the ways that this community can heal and become a movement is by people realizing, yeah, I was born in Scientology, it was horrible. And me saying, yeah, I raised a couple of kids in Scientology until they were teenagers and it was horrible. And then we could just get off that, because this is tribalism, this segmentation into these different groups. Regardless of the validity of their experience, we can share our experiences, and we can say, I can acknowledge, yeah, it's nothing like what I had, but what I had was nothing like what you had. And what I saw was nothing like what you saw. And that we are all on the same team. So it's like, even by calling this stuff out, it just perpetuates the segmented tribalistic existence of this community. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean by tribalism. People use that word, they don't define it. I'm going to define it for you. Tribalism is when a particular group of people uses their combined voice to drown out the voice of another group rather than having an honest discourse with them. And that's what's happening with these, the people that were raised in Scientology. And OSA has been working for 20 years to weaponize the generation of Scientologists who were born in and left, weaponize them against their parents. And
Mm.
they pulled it off. And so I'm just saying, maybe you need to think a little bit about what it means to be tribalistic and how it is not helpful for us to even fall into these groups. And I've never for a minute assumed that my experience was anything like what it would be to be born in. I have the experience and the guilt and the shame to deal with of having raised kids in Scientology. So I'm not sure what this thing is that I need to recognize that my experience in Scientology was curated. It wasn't curated. I saw it all. It was not, believe me. I mean, I'm one of the few public people, other than maybe Leah Remini and a few other people, who actually got the truth rundown, personally from Marty Rathbun, which is that's the finishing touch on the RPF. I had that process run on me. So it's like how curated it was with my Scientology when I was in the unique position of sure, I wasn't making $50 a week. I was making a lot more than that, but I had to go through a lot of the same BS. And just like I didn't know about a lot of Sea Org members didn't know a lot of stuff that was happening because everything is so, siloed in Scientology. I talked about this today earlier in the stream, like missions in Scientology, they cover up their BS. They hide it from the org. The org hides it from the CLO. The CLO hides it from CMO Ant. CMO Ant hides it from the Watchdog Committee. The Watchdog Committee hides it from RTC because everybody above you is going to blame you for the shit that went wrong in your area. So anyway, sorry I went on a little bit of a tangent about that. And please understand, Tazzy D, this is it's an important conversation. I'm glad you brought it up. I hope you watch my content and do reach out to me and tell me what that do better content would look like, because I'm definitely open to your ideas.
Can I add something onto that?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to say, I noticed that similar comments have been said to you. A lot of comparing experiences, and I don't think I've ever encountered such a thing, because in my community, it is everybody's story's different, but they're all the same. We're all here for one common primary purpose, and that's to take down addiction, or that's to take down Scientology. And the
Yeah.
The vision, and the thing is, you were in Scientology from the age of what, 19?
23.
Or wait, 19. I thought you got a hair. I couldn't remember.
No, 23. I had a drug. Yeah.
Now, so 23 years old, you're a youngin', right?
Yeah.
And when did you 70?
Yeah, I was when I fully left, I was 71.
How many know that stayed in that long? Probably a lot, but
yeah, a lot.
But a lot of the ones that say things to you and criticize you for what I'd like to think are, I don't want to say petty, but because I don't know that they're petty. I don't know Scientology, right? But things that I feel like it's like a gotcha kind of thing, because what should really happen is that shit shouldn't matter, in my opinion. I'm not talking about just Scientology. I'm talking in general.
Right.
Just with any kind of group. It's principles before personalities. Principles of what our common goal is, and the personalities. If there's an abuser, that's a different situation. That's taken care of, right? Because those people harm the movement. But otherwise, people that are in it for the right reasons, everybody that was in, that's kind of victim shaming too. I gotta say that. I know she or he didn't mean to do that, probably.
Yeah.
You can't, when you compare someone's trauma to another person's trauma, it's very hurtful. And I really need to reiterate that. It's something that I never realized was so painful until this past year. And so now I fully understand how that can be very very painful. And
yeah,
and the thing is too, it's the ego thing. And and invalidating your life experience for no reason. We should be working together. Personality,
Right.
you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. Are we on the same mission? It's not about
Right.
who likes who. This isn't fucking high school. You know,
Right.
I'm sorry. It just bothers me because I never experienced seeing such things in my life.
Yeah, no, I know. It's yeah, I can understand that.
I
Hold
just
on one second.
don't like that stuff being, I just, because I know you so well and I know that's not the case, you know?
Right.
What else was I gonna ask you? God, no. What do you think is gonna make the biggest impact for Scientology to be stopped if it is stopped?
Oh, David Miscavige going to jail or dying.
Yeah?
I mean, the guy's got asthma. He's probably loaded on roids all the time for his asthma.
Mm.
He's a heavy smoker. He doesn't, he's, you know, he smokes Camels, but he like, he'll smoke half of one, put it down, and smoke another one, put it down.
Oh,
And, you know, he always smells like mouthwash. He always smells like tobacco and mouthwash, which, you know, I always wondered if it's a cover for drinking. Like, I always wonder if he wasn't like taking a couple of, because it's just, anyway, whatever. I don't, but I was going to say, imagine you're at like a like a Narcotics Anonymous type thing, like an AA thing. People are sitting around and they're talking about their experiences, and somebody's talking about, yeah, when I was, you know, 19 or whatever, and I got onto heroin or whatever, and somebody else is saying, well, my mother was an addict and I was born an addict, and you don't even have any right to talk. Could you imagine that in that community?
I
It's like,
do.
no, everybody is accepting and giving, especially because they've walked in the front door. First thing I did when I went on, one of the first things, well, one of the first things I did after I left is I apologized to my kids, and I
Oh,
had a long talk with them. And my younger son said, holy shit, what are they going to do without you? Because
wow.
they grew up seeing all this work that I did for Gold. And I was like, I don't know. I don't care. Um, and then I did the same thing on YouTube. I was like, I talked to people. I apologized. I said, I was a Scientology parent. It's one of the things I'm holding myself accountable for. And they were like, you're a perpetrator. There's kids in hotels. It's your fault. You made films that like groomed auditors to abuse children. No, I made films that were teaching people to do Scientology, and you used it to abuse children.
Makes me
Okay. So, but whatever. I
I,
don't want to get in there, but it's just like this whole idea. I'm saying, you know, Tazzy D, let's stop even bringing this thing up
I know.
about the multi-generational aspect, unless somebody is like refuting it, unless somebody is speaking against it. But just to say, well, you need to learn more about the kids who grew up. Really? I raised two kids in Scientology and I'm holding myself accountable for it. I've seen the effect on them firsthand in my household, in my relationship today. I don't think there's a lot more I can learn about it, because I can't go back and get born in Scientology just so I can like find out what that horror show is all about. But I do. Anyway,
Well,
what does this say? MX man, wait. Me and my husband both had addict parents, but he grew up with his, and I was taken from mine. Mine were around, but
oh, I didn't see
I didn't live with them. Both of our experiences are valid. Yeah, there you go.
it. There's so many comments because I was, oh, that's Mandy. Yeah. Oh, we did a stream
Yeah,
about that. We're going to do one tomorrow.
that's great. That's great.
I
Yeah,
want
that's yeah. I mean, I did have one friend who was
look.
an addict who I knew from junior high school. I knew him in high school. I knew him after high school, and his parents were both his mother and his stepfather, who he lived with. They were the three of them. They all did heroin together. It was like, oh my god! And it's, you know,
Look, Monroe. It was very nice.
yeah,
Colette, thank you. That means a lot. I've been getting hit left and right. Mitch too over the past year here and there. But
yeah,
let it bother him. He's very strong about it and he helps me with it.
yeah.
Allowed to make amends and change. Pete Jensen TV, absolutely correct. Others do this for some amount. Oh, I have to read. I have to go up and read. Hold on, I'm sorry. I want to read everybody's comments. I feel like I am rude if I don't. I like culty clips.
Yeah.
I think have I talked to you, culty clips? I think I have. Oh, wait, let me see this. This is someone asked me a question. This is a great question, you guys. I talked about this the other day. Listen, Lily Scissorhands said, comment, Aaron could go to AA. It could be anybody. Let's just say XYZ could go to AA, but no one can get sober until they want to. I think that is part of the problem. And I don't know, Lindsay, can you work on mental health and get anywhere when you're still using? No. They have to be treated simultaneously, literally at the same time. Mental health, I mean, substance abuse is mental health. It's classified under that. But if we're talking about mental health, that's not substance abuse, and substance abuse over here, you cannot just treat substance abuse without the mental health, and the mental health without the substance abuse. You will not make it. That's why they have dual diagnosis programs, true dual diagnosis programs.
Yeah.
I've taken classes on that, and that's the type of treatment center I work for, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mandy. I love you. Good evening, dear. Thanks, Chrissy. Lindsay is sober and working to put him in her past. Thank you. Margie, if a person doesn't like you, who for you are, that is not your person. Very true. Protest kids live stream going to Bib Blue.
Big. I think she just a typo. Big Blue.
Oh, I see.
Protest kids live stream going to Big Blue, then wonder why their tires get flat. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that's why the anonymous guys used to take the train to protest.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tori Magoo tells a really funny story about the first time she met the anonymous guys to go protest, and they all got on the same subway, same train car, and they were all wearing masks, and everybody in the car, forgive me, Tori, I hope I don't tell this wrong. Everybody in the car, that train car, was like freaking out because there were all these guys and they were all wearing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then Tori said, don't worry about it. They're with me. We're just going to protest the Church of Scientology. And they were all like, yay. So,
Cool.
so yeah. I mean, look, if you're getting your tire slashed, God damn it, take an Uber. Take the subway. There's a subway station not far from the Big Blue, but and if you want to give me send me your contact information to Scientology, the Big Lie at gmail.com. I would like to put you on a list so that we could organize demonstrations that are more directly connected to Miscavige, and not just to the people that are scared to death of him.
I was making a huge email list. I have like 100 people on there, and I have stopped making it. So if anybody that want to be on mine's different than his.
Yeah.
He does different than me. But
yeah, I'm specifically talking about people who live in LA who would like to do, because if I need to get like 100 people. Like the message needs to be really loud in order for Miscavige to feel threatened. Like it needs to be a big deal. So if anybody's interested, we'll try to get that organized. And now Osa knows all about it.
Osa can suck my ass.
Yeah, and I hope you guys are doing good. Linda, hello. Corinne, hello. I know all these guys. I mean, I used to be in meetings with them and watch them be brutalized by Miscavige.
Look at this Culty Clips. I like you a lot. Culty Clips, I want to be friends with you. No, they have some really cool shit I've seen.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird that I left. Nobody thought I would ever leave. I mean, I had so many people reaching out to me, like saying, we don't believe, like, you left. Like, it was crazy. But then all of a sudden I'm being attacked on YouTube, and I'm like, whoa, this feels like being in ethics trouble in Scientology. Oh. And it was the big man leading the charge, guys. I'm just saying, I don't want to get back into that conversation, but I was And it was interesting because nobody left the international base in like how long?
What was
15 years?
their international base? The same?
Where gold is.
The same?
Yeah, yeah, they're just across the street from each other. They're
Okay.
totally the same. Um, like nobody's left there. I mean, so like in I don't know who was the last 2011. I think Mike left, and I don't remember, but it was a good while. It was like 10, 15 years since anybody left, and I showed up. And you think people, and I wasn't like expecting some warm welcome. You know, I self-published a book, and I was doing my due diligence in terms of how to market it, and YouTube came up because I really, 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 really wanted to get that message out. I didn't want to, you know, the people who had read it were like, "No, you need to publish this. You need to get it out there. This is important." And then I was like, "Whoa!" I'm being like, you know, literally, I would get like texts like, "You had 14-year-old slaves making your bed of gold." I'm like, just the craziest shit.
Will you
Um,
help me with
sorry,
I have a couple books that I'm working on. Not
would I
just
help you?
I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
surprise. I think I told you a little bit.
yeah. It's no problem. If any way I can help, I will. I mean, I'm not. I mean,
I'll t-
I know how to write my stuff. I don't know if that. I think I might have some advice that could be generally applied.
it's a I'll explain it to you. It's a short
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, the biggest mistake first-time authors make is they try to write a book instead of just sitting down and maybe just writing an essay.
Mm.
Just an essay, just write an essay. Like that's how I started my book. I went, "Oh, I remember the day that this thing happened." So I just wrote an essay about that. And then I wrote another one and I wrote another one and I went, "Oh yeah. How do I feel about that? What does that mean? How can I unpack that for people? I'm going to write an article about that." And so eventually I had enough stuff I started organizing into a book. It's more digestible that way.
I forget a lot of stuff though. Like making a timeline of my life is very difficult.
Yeah, but once you start writing about it, it'll start coming back. So that's just your mind trying to censor you from doing it, because a lot of it will come back once you start.
You guys, will you send me your email in the chat so I can add it to my mailing list if you would like? I have a website and I'm starting to write emails, or I won't send a lot, just like any information. If you would like, I have to add it to my other bit. My husband, oh, I already read that part. Oh, you sent super stickers? Thanks, Colette. Is it Colette or Colette? Did I say it right? Colette. I like it. Christy's a beautiful person. So is Mandy. Look at, did you read that one yet? Yeah, you did. I love you guys. I'm sure at this point Osa knows where all that. What do you think about, where did my Mitchie go? Hold on, I got it. He disconnected by accident, probably. Um, he'll be back. You guys, so what do you anybody have any email addresses they want me to add so I can inform you of anything going on? Mitch's stuff, my stuff, any mental health, addiction, anything like that? Any news? Huh. Okay, I think I got it. Huh. Might have kicked him off. Okay, my bloody Mandy, my. Hey, Wood Share, how are you? Thanks for popping in. I haven't seen you. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I
okay. Because my apparently
can you.
my camera's not come online, but I think so. I'll just say goodnight with my
Okay.
voice. Uh, I think 3 hours is enough. Lindsay, this was a
Yeah.
fantastic opportunity. I'm glad we did it, and we'll be back.
Cool. All right, boo boo. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Good. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. And you guys don't leave yet because I'm gonna be on here for a few minutes. If you want to talk, if you're sick of me, I'll get off here though. Um, I just if you want to, I would email her your email so others don't get it. Oh, you mean email it to Mandy, my mod? Um, to also find your VPN. I had a VPN for like a short time, like literally a month, and then I was like, "F this, dude. This is stupid." And then and then they charged me for like a whole year. And I don't even know how to like download the. I don't even know what the app that goes with it. Like I feel like a freaking idiot. So I just said, "Screw it." You're right, Lily. You guys, email it to my email if you want, if you're so inclined. And plus, I love getting. That's what I got, Surfshark, but I don't know how to use it. I didn't download it, so I'm paying all this money that they automatically took out, and I was like, I don't need it anymore. Cause like I got hacked or whatever, so I was like freaking out, like a crazy person. Thanks, Victor. I love Mitch. He's like been a real, like a true friend to me. Um, he didn't use me and have a vendetta against anybody that he used me for, and genuinely helped me navigate a lot of things. And that's hard to find, you know. Thanks, Mandy. Yes, send your email there. Um, download what, baby? Um, another thing too that I was gonna say is you know, I feel bad and always want to delete the streams where I bring up certain people and you guys know who I'm talking about. But at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't be scared or ashamed maybe to just be honest. Hey Tazzy, I know him very well. I know. Listen, or he's less self promotion than most of these people in this atmosphere. Please believe. Please believe. Thank you, Lily. Will you email me? But Tazzy, I hear you loud and clear. But you guys got to look at the big picture. He's never, ever asked me to do anything for him. Ever. You know? He's generally been a good person to me. Yeah, I mean, I just, guys know what I'm trying to say. I try to be honest about the situation that happened, um, and I'm getting slammed on Reddit that people are sending me pictures and screenshots, and I'm gonna have to put an end to it being sent to me. And I've started asking my friends, don't tell me anything. Which recent ones, honey? What can I ask you, Idly? A lot of fear. If I'm being brutally honest, it's fear. Fear of being judged. Because after I posted those, I got a lot of bad comments about me, about how I'm like a psychopath and stuff. And I shouldn't let it bother me. I shouldn't have even seen it, but when someone sent it to me, I can't help. And it's not their fault, because I would have looked anyways at some point, probably, because I can go a while and just not care. But I'm just like, my head is still screwed up, honestly, from everything that had happened this past year, because it wasn't Aaron that was attacking me. Not really. It was everybody doing it for him. And then it stopped when Jenna came out, and people are saying that I'm the liar and she was telling the truth. And that's fine. People can say what they want, but I think some people are so cold and they don't understand, or they don't want to understand that, that's not how things work. A year ago I said these things and I was shunned, and I had people call government agencies on me. I had people, multiple government agencies on me. He went on my leg, baby. Tazzy. He just streamed too. Mandolin, thanks for being a new member. That means a lot. I don't have hardly any members, so that's so cool. I never promote it. Like, I guess I get like the super stickers. I don't really know what the super stickers are, or like what the difference is between that and the freaking super chats. Like, I don't even know, but I feel like I see in other people's chats it's pretty cool. But Colette said people need to get a life of their own and stay out of others' businesses. Well, they were very nice to me for a little while, which I didn't really care if they were not, because I was pulling away from everybody before that. Aaron asked me to pull away too, and I respected that. But before that, I was pulling away as well. I just want to say, like, not to bring her up again, but Jenna had said something to me, and I do agree with her, and where she was coming from. She said she doesn't want to be associated with anybody that's trying to bring Aaron down. And I believe she said that because Aaron posted a picture of me with a voice recording of Jamie Mustard texting me. I don't know him. I'm not friends with him. He just said, I heard what happened. Hope you're okay. Because he's friends with Nora, and I'm cool with Nora too. And so it was just a nice gesture. And I think Aaron posted it all over his page, and he got shit for it. It's just a lot of drama that is unnecessary. None of that needed to happen. And stuff like that. I'd love to be able to ignore everything. That's my goal. to ignore everything and be unaffected. But at the same time, where do you draw the line between sticking up for yourself and saying what's right and getting the word out, and then keeping quiet? Does that make sense? I don't know. It's really hard for me to decipher. I don't know why it's so hard. When I speak up, I get shit for it, just like this whole past year. It's easy to, but the thing is though, too, when I think about it, it's like, I'd rather stick up for myself or stick up for others that are being treated a certain way than be quiet and watch it happen and cower and not feel good about myself. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I want to stand up for what's right, because it's like the bystander effect. Nobody wants to do it, right? A lot of people do, but I'm saying the majority of people will just stand by and expect someone else is going to do it. And I got to give fucking mad props to Nora. I don't care what anybody thinks about her or doesn't think about her. I know in the beginning she was working for Aaron and doing whatever, like, for Aaron, and I was upset. And then you know what she did? She apologized. She made things right. She told the truth. She's been shouting from the rooftops on her page for other people that have been hurt. And I know it's taking a mental toll on her, and she's still doing it. And it's almost like she's like blossoming before her eyes. And I don't even know her that well, but just from the first time I seen her, I hated her. I hated her so much. And now she's my favorite, and I don't watch anybody but her. And she's actually been there. Like, I could text her, and like, I was having an anxiety attack the other day. This might be TMI, but I just want to show you, like, she's not faking it. I heard people say, like, she's just doing it for clout. No, she didn't have to talk. She didn't have to talk to me for an hour and help me calm down and get out of an anxiety attack. She didn't have to text JM, Jenna Miscavige, all that stuff and saying we're here for you and text her nice things. So it's not my fight, but at the same time, I don't like when people don't stand up for people that are doing the right thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't like when, like, that video today that woman made. I thought it was directed towards Nora and possibly me, and that's okay. But all anybody wanted to do was just help. And the unfortunate thing is people will not help the next time. And that sucks. Tazzy said, Lindsay, I'm a retired mental health clinician. Wow. Please get a close group of friends who you trust. Yeah, I have been connecting with my old friends. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Kate, thank you. Because no other fucker will. Yeah, Lindsay, hurting people hurt people. If they're mean to you, they are hurting. My God. On used to say, when you come across people like that, they have the grace to let them enjoy it. You ignore it. I love Nora. She's grown a great deal. No one has the right to silence you or make you afraid. You get to draw your own boundaries. It's a fine line. Welcome, Colette. Yes, welcome, Colette. New member. Kate Taylor, I hate that saying. Which saying? And the thing is, too, is like, would you guys do me a solid and not bring up Aaron or his specific drama from now on to me? I would really appreciate it, because Um, I'm moving away from that, and I don't need to know what's going on. It's none of my business. Um, like I said, I wish whoever well, and as long as I'm not being affected and hurt, um, I guess I could have worded that differently, because I obviously would be affected if they were hurting other people, but there's nothing I can realistically do about it more than I've already done. I have videos of me all over the internet, telling the truth, and so there's not much more I could do. And people just finally woke up the past month, and so like, where were you? And it's like, no, where the fuck were you? I felt like I was crazy because I was the only one, the only girl. Juliana came out a little bit, but she wasn't she wasn't constantly doing it. I was doing it at the expense of my own mental health because I felt like it was the right thing to do. I don't now, and I've learned to navigate it. There's a balance, but you know, the women in here, you guys have become like my real friends, and I don't care what anybody says, if that's pathetic or not, that I have online friends. I've met most of my friends online in real life. People from here, you know. I met someone on Twitter. The guy Adam in my first video, I met him on Twitter. We became best friends, and he comes here. He's from Atlanta. So that's why I said, please email me. I love to hear from you guys and talk, and especially when I'm have free time at work, I get to respond. And Mandy is my non-binary friend. Yeah, and please, you guys, I have nothing against trans identified people or gay or LGBTQIA plus. Okay, none of it. Um, I was very misunderstood with what I had said before, and that's okay. Um, and if I did make a mistake, because I don't remember exactly what I said, then I made a mistake, and I apologize. You know, and we're all just doing our. I'm doing my best to just doing my best to get through the fucking day, and doing my best to help others and help myself, and have friends and that are genuine. And I'm very skeptical of people, and I don't trust a lot of people, and so I'm proud of myself for having friends and meeting friends on here. People that email me, I become genuinely good friends with them, and that's pretty cool. Say what you will, you know. It's pretty cool. um it's all, you're human and we made a mistake, it's all a good deal. Yeah, I was very ashamed of myself for how I handled the situation the past year. Um, but I'm learning that that's a common thing with trauma, is that we beat ourselves up for how we handled the situation. You know what I'm saying? Um, Thanks, Mandy. I sometimes take too much accountability in some things to where it was harming me. Like in the beginning, when I first came out, I was like, basically, I made that first video about Aaron, and then the next day I made a part two, and I basically said like, well, it was my fault. It was kind of exactly like what Jenna did, so that's why I felt so much compassion and I understood it. You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, no, I did this and I did that, and why do you think I did that? You know, um, because it's, why are you trying to ruin my life? You're ruining my life, Lindsay. Um, so I'm sorry if what I had to say hurt anybody. I mean, that's not the right words to say. I apologize if the truth hurt people. Um, but yet I also don't. I guess I feel bad, maybe. maybe not. I don't know. It's unfortunate. But I was not going to be silenced anymore. And I hope that if you're going through something, I don't care how petty you think it is or how little, if you don't think it's abusive and you're like, this doesn't qualify as that. I thought that too. And I've been in a few different abusive relationships, one to where I had to get a restraining order against a man for choking me out and till I passed out. And I got a restraining order granted against him for 3 years. And my mind blocks all that out. That in turn turned me into someone that when I would drink, I would fight with men physically because I had this deep-seated resentment inside, never to women. And I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it's just weird how things happen, you know? It's scary. I wondered what was wrong with me, you know? It was because I had trauma I had to work through. And I did, for the most part. There's always more to be worked on, though, right? I'm waiting on a new therapist to get sliding scale because you're right. He does take no accountability. It's a pattern. It's actually like free thinker, exactly right. Let me put this up here. Thank you, hun. I know that's why um I'm also gonna tell people not to send it to me too. I'm guilty myself. It's like more when I'm bored, I think, and then I'm just like, meh. But you're right, free thinker. Facebook, nobody messes with me. Um, Mandy tells me this. Oh, they all tell me the same thing. Um, it's almost like an addiction sometimes, and I stay away for days, and then I look. I was such a bitch when I was super drunk. Me too. I punched my best friend. Yeah, I mean, I went to prison because I punched two cops. Like, I have no. I'm blacked out. Thanks, Colette. Christy, you can't judge yourself more harshly than you judge others. Oh, isn't that the truth? Because that's what I do. You need to forgive yourself and have the patience, love, and grace. Oh, you're beautiful. Me too, Colette. Yep. Thank you. I love you guys. See, the thing is, I was going to take a break away from YouTube and hide, kind of. And then I realized, why am I scared? What am I scared of? I mean, I knew what I was scared of, but like, was it realistic? I shouldn't let anybody's existence determine what I do or what they say about me or what they don't say about me. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys. And I know that people watching right now, these people can call me a narcissist, a psychopath. Go for it. The fear is a trauma response. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so, it's like call me whatever names you want. People say that I'm not a victim and that I'm the instigator and I hurt the girl, and that's just not the case. It upsets me because I was there for so many years and I got cheated on, but because she was well known and I'm an ex-junkie, that's just my interpretation. That ended up falling and he called me crazy and all these things and had a smear campaign run against me. they bought it hook, line, and sinker, and that's unfortunate, but it's something that happened, and I'm overcoming it. I've overcome it, and it's gonna stay in the past, you know. It is, and I'm proud of myself for being nice to Jen on the beginning, and because I'm not a nice person when it comes to other women like that. Meaning I don't know if they have good intentions with me or not, or they're using me. And I almost felt used, but I could be very wrong. I'm gonna leave too, you guys. And thank you, free thinker. I like this Lindsay too. You guys, I went thrifting tonight. I'll show you tomorrow what I got. It's exciting. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Think about this before you want access or listening to anything in ASL related. We want you to be engaging and sharing interesting thoughts. Thank you. Breaks from YouTube can be healthy. Boundaries with YouTube are needed. Saying this in general, not gotcha. Mermaid. Currently realizing how I've been mistreated in my relationship, crying and shaking. I've been happy in this relationship for a long time. I tried so hard. Mermaid, email me, okay? Please. Mandy, did you dip already? Words leave those invisible scars. I'm so tired, yeah. I'm usually in bed by 9:30. But Mitch was worth it. And so are you guys. Words leave those invisible scars that sometimes don't heal. You're not crazy. Your reaction was based on your circumstances. Yeah, I know. That's why people are calling me crazy. But, like, I didn't know how to react or how to deal with it. But I'm learning now. But, yeah, email me, you guys, okay? lnvillandry@gmail.com. And I love you. Sweet dreams. And let's chat tomorrow. Think of some topics that you want to talk about or anything and email them to me if you could. I love you guys. Mwah.